I am very much concerned about your capacity to tell the truth. I'm very much concerned about it. You come across as somebody who is very strong on issues, very strong, sometimes very insulting. And if you look at the editorial of your newspaper, which is just dated 9th March 2009, that's today's issue, I was a bit scandalized that some serious verbal assault was launched on the former President J. Kufuor and also Osafo Maafo. Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, let me refresh his memory on what has been captured. Very interesting. Osafo Maafo is yesterday's man. Mr. Yao Osafo Maafo was once a Minister of Finance and Economic Planning under the senseless, wasteful former MPP government led by J.A. Kufuor, alias 50%. Alias 50%. And then you went on, the editorial goes on to say that it also takes us into the mind of the minority in Parliament and the mischievous spirit operating within them. And it goes on to say that concerning Osafo Maafo, it is either dementia is setting in because of old age, or Osafo Maafo is willfully criticizing the budget to score cheap political points for his party, and so on and so forth. Fifi, I think that, seriously speaking, this does not mark you out as a very civil person who should be giving such a high office of Deputy Minister of Finance, because you needn't insult another man to make a point. How are you going to fit into this role if this is your frame of mind and disposition? Question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The honourable member clearly assumes that everything that is written in the newspaper called Crystal Clear Lens is written by my good self. For the information of the honourable member, after 7th December, to date, I've not even had the opportunity to do what I call a write-up in the Lens up to today. It's been too hectic, too busy to be able to do so. In fact, even prior to that, a lot of the things that get done are not necessarily written by me.
Fine, you didn't write it.
So, to be honest, what you're actually quoting, to be honest, that's the first time I'm hearing about it myself. I've not even read it.
So now decency demands. Do you think that this is very civil and polite language for a newspaper which you happen to be the managing director? So do you want to apologize for such a foul language which is contained in an editorial, or you want to endorse this kind of language?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My simple answer to that will be that as much as possible, we should be able to convey our sentiments in a manner that as much as possible will not, as it were, incur too much, should I call it, apprehension from the other side. Having said that, let us acknowledge that across the political divide, both in papers that support the NPP and papers that support the NDC, there tends to be tendencies where sometimes you go overboard. It's the nature of the game, sometimes you throw punches that are below the belt. It's not always the best, but it does happen. It happens naturally in the game. In fact, I remember clearly Mr. J. Kufuor, when he went to see then former President John Rawlinson in the Castle as President-elect, said that on the platform sometimes you wax larger than life. You say things that you don't always would have said when you were much more cool.
This is a newspaper. There's not a platform.
It's the same.
It's a newspaper.
It's the same political realm. the same political realm.
Now, it's okay. It's okay. Let's leave him. Let's leave him. Now, Fifi again. Fifi again. Yeah, Fifi again. The Lens newspaper reported that the NPP government has sold off the gold reserves of this country, all the gold reserves of this country. Can you tell us whether it's one of the propaganda that your newspaper is to churn out, or you have facts as to the quantum of the gold, the value of the gold, and the buyer of the gold? Can you tell us?
Yeah, before I can answer that, it's important for the honorable member, Mr. Chairman, to apprise me of exactly what he's talking about. As far as I know, there was a report on the web, I think before election, and that report was killed by various newspapers in the country. I think it was not just papers who were even pro-NDC, there were also other papers that killed it. If that's the report you're talking about, clearly that report did not generate from the Lens newspaper at all.
So you carried a report that you didn't have evidential support for. Is that what you're telling us? That you were the conveyor belt of somebody else's story, and you didn't have any evidential support at all, that the government of the NPP has sold all the gold reserves of this country? Is that the kind of thing that you want people to be doing in the Ministry of Finance? That without evidence you could churn out anything?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. For those who would, as it were, track back and see how the Crystal Clear Lens as a newspaper reported that story, they will realize that in line with our sense of responsibility, we ask it in the form of a question. Are the gold reserves sold? It came as a question because we were not in a position to authenticate it. So we asked a question whether the gold reserves were sold. We never stated it as a matter of fact.
Mr. Chairman, let me proceed with
your last question.
Okay, very well. I would have loved to go on, but now I think the months preceding the presidential elections, you particularly made Nana Akufo-Addo your ministry. Now, there was no moment that if you didn't attack the very person of Akufo-Addo, you will not be complete as a person. And I'm referring to this NDC forum for setting the record straight. And let me capture something that you said, which I found very interesting. Yeah, Fifi, you said...
Honorable Member for Bokwasa, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Fifi, you said, those who are unable to tell the truth about their past cannot be trusted to tell the truth about their present and their future. And they went on when you said, between Atta Mills' NDC and Akufo-Addo's NPP, the choice cannot be any easier for Pastor Otabil and co. Whereas NDC Atta Mills is a genuine man of peace, NPP's Akufo-Addo has blood and violence dogging his political trail. NDC's vice chairman in the Abuakwa Central constituency, Abu Mohammed, remains a cripple today because of the brutality meted out to him by Akufo-Addo's thugs. Again, in the year 2004, Akufo-Addo's thugs on the night of the election set ablaze NDC's office in Chebi, Abuakwa South, where I'm the MP, and destroyed everything in that office. Akufo-Addo's naturally violent propensity obviously has made his party even more violent since he became the leader of the NPP. Now, Fifi, I suggest to you, with all due deference to you, I'm not here to embarrass you, that do you know that this statement against Akufo-Addo is one of the lies that you were selling out? Indeed, Abu Mohammed is never a cripple. And as we talk right now, He's the chairman of the TAFU GTRPU. GTRPU. And also in my constituency, Chebi, where I come from, there has never been any NDC office which was burnt down by thugs of Akufo-Addo. And I want to put it to you straight away that this is the kind of disservice you are doing this country. You are not setting any record straight. And if you want the chairman and the rest of the committee to call, Abu Mohammed, he will walk right here. He's not a cripple. And there was no occasion that he was beaten up to the point that he became a cripple. Would you want to recant this and apologize, or you want to stand by, these falsehoods?
If he stands by, we'll call out.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to state emphatically that the Forum for Setting the Record Straight did in all 12 major press conferences. And we tackle issues across the political divide, from healthcare through education to the economy to NPP's claims about human rights.
Address this cripple issue. I've asked very specific questions, and if you can address the issue of the cripple that you spoke about, and also the burning of the NDC office in Chebi, where I come from. Address just these two. I don't want to go. We don't even have the time. They are even telling me to stop. So please, I crave your indulgence. Was there any occasion that Abu Mohammed became a cripple as a result of political assault by thugs of MPP? And was there any occasion that the NDC office was burnt down? That's all, my good man, that's all.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Honorable member.
We are not afraid of this country. Every day you people say do so, do so. Every day you people say do so, do so. That problem there for the Kuma time. It's there for the Jeje time. It's there for the Kufuor time. It's there for the Atamis time. And that your mama come and solve that problem. How was demonstration? How was demonstration? You people are mad or fool. We are Ghanaians. Why you disturb the president like that? He's my father, Joe Dramani Mama. You people are demonstrating. If you go here demonstrating, look at the thing your mama do in this Ghana. Look at the street hospital. You don't know. That problem there for the Kuma time. And your mama want to kill in their heart to solve that problem. Me, myself, I like you so. I like you so. Because I'm the darkness man. Why you disturb the president like that? Huh? Why you disturb Joe Dramani Mama? Mr. Enselesi like that? You Ghana. When the problem there, let's all meet together to pray. Let's all meet together to pray for Joe Mama, and the problem must be finished. Joe Mama killing the light. Ghana, I ask you a question. Joe Mama killing the light. It's a problem. Right now, Joe Mama travel to collect the thing to come Ghana to stop the light. Or you can pray for the president. Mad. Hey, Sarkodie. Sarkodie musician, me, I respect you a lot. By this time, you are a fool. Hey, even that is me, I know you very well. I know you very well. Very, 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 very. We are all mad, oh. We are all mad, this country. Me and the support to Tony Mara. 2016 go win. You don't do so, do so. Just pray. Ah, Jagapia, you go to Brazil. You go to sleep toilet. Are you fool? Are you fool to go demonstrate to disturb the president? Why you disturb the president in the nation like that? You can pray. My name is Brahma Kamoko, aka Buko Baku. No fear, no bagawaya. Me, I don't like do so. Foolish people. When the God cook, there is no smoke. Leave them. Kamoko, aka Bukom Banku. Tell her with the craze, oh, we with the craze of this country. We are not afraid this country. Every day you people say do so, do so. Every day you people say do so, do so. That problem there for the Kuma time. It's there for the JJ time. It's there for the Kufuor time. It's there for the Atamis time. And that your mama come and solve that problem. How was demonstration? How was demonstration? You people are mad or fool. We are Ghanaians. Why you disturb the president like that? He's my father, John Dramani Mama. You people are demonstrating. If you go here demonstrating, look at the things your mama do in this Ghana. Look at the street hospital. You don't know. That problem there for the Kuma time. And your mama want to kill in their heart to solve that problem. Me, myself, I like you so. I like you so. Because I'm the darkness man. Why you disturb the president like that? Huh? Why you disturb John Dramani Mama? Mr. Enselas like that? You Ghana. When the problem there, let's all make together to pray. Let's all make together to pray for John Mama, and the problem must be finished. John Mama killing the light. Ghana, I ask you a question. John Mama killing the light. It's a problem. Right now, John Mama travel to collect the thing to come Ghana to stop the light. Or you can pray for the president. Mad. Hey, Sarkodie. Sarkodie musician, me, I don't respect you a lot. By this time, you are a fool. Hey, Yvonne Nelson, me, I know you very well. I know you very well. Very, 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 very. We are all mad, oh. We are all mad, this country. Me, I support Tony Mara. 2016 go win. You don't do so, do so. Just pray. Jacapia, you go to Brazil. You go to sleep toilet. Are you fool? Are you fool to go demonstrating to disturb the president? Why you disturb the president in the nation like that? You can pray. My name is Brahma Kamoko, aka Buko Banku. No fear, no bagawaya. Me, I don't like you so. Foolish people. When the
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the show. It's always a pleasure to come to you tonight. That was Brian Makaboko Bukom Banku, my good friend, celebrated boxer. Tonight we have so much for you. Our blind historian is in the studio to discuss. It's 26 minutes past the top of the hour, and usually these days my bosses want me to take a break first, but I pleaded with them that let me just do the parliament story first. After the break, we have more stories coming. We have our parliamentary analysis. And tonight we'll continue with what we did on Tuesday, showing viewers the historical processes of elections. Tonight we're going further back, and I made the point on Tuesday that elections historically in Ghana were very good. They were issue-based, and I'm going to show you videos of that. I'm going to show you videos of short videos of 69th election. We're going to see 3 candidates in 69. Prime Minister Busia, the eventual winner, Joe Appiah of Ababase fame, and 69. Who else do we have? No, also 79. 69 is Joe Appiah, Ababase, Bedema, correct. Afro Bedema's video for 69 is available, a very short one. We have it during the campaign, what he said during the campaign. And then we have Prime Minister Busia, the eventual winner. And we have Joe Appiah of Ababase fame. You should see that. I'm sure you've seen it before, but we're going to put it in a proper perspective. Then we come to 79, where we're going to show you the campaign speech, short one of Dr. Liman on the campaign platform, and then William Oforiatta on the campaign platform, and Victor Owusu on the campaign platform, as well as the very fiery Colonel Banasco also on the campaign platform. And then we'll come to 1992, I believe, and then we'll show you, I believe, Fly Lieutenant Rawlings and Professor Dubois. And then we'll come to 1997. Then we'll come to 2000, and then we'll ask ourselves, how did the politics become? If this is the history of the country, who started this kind of political rhetoric that doesn't present a vision for the people? It just insults somebody or tells people how corrupt somebody is when they know they have no basis to do so. We're going to put that story in perspective, and I hope that you enjoy it. 27 minutes past the top of the hour. Later on, we'll be showing you our analysis of how different the election 2024 parliamentary contest is going to be. We have some analysis that we'll be working on for a while now. We'll be looking at the parliamentary contest in all the seasons where there was an opportunity for a party to break the 8. So we look at the year 2000, which was the opportunity for the NDC to, as it were, break the 8. We'll look at the parliamentary distribution ahead of election 2000 and what happened thereafter. And we will explain why what happened. And then we'll switch it straight to 2008 when the New Patriotic Party had the opportunity to, as it were, break the 8. And we'll look at the parliamentary distribution before the election and then after the election what happened. And then we'll switch all the way to 2016 as well, where again the NDC had the opportunity to break the 8. We'll put all that in perspective and then we'll take 2024. We're going to look at the distribution of parliament right now and make projections as to what is likely to happen and show you how parliamentary elections of 2024 could be completely different from all the parliamentary elections we have seen, especially in those years that one political party or the other had the opportunity to break the 8. We hope it's analysis that you will enjoy. We spend a lot of time doing it. All be on the touch screen for you. 28 minutes past the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. I hope you like our chessboard. Do you like it? Yeah, this is it. It's going to remain here for a long time. And you can come into the studio and play some chess. Okay. Alexander Afenyo Markin. Good evening to you, viewers. And here you are with Alexander Afenyo Markin. You know what that means? Well, election fever is building up and it's building up very, very strong. What has happened today, since yesterday and today, it was originally presented as a confusion in MPP's parliamentary leadership. But the thing about the MPP people is that they fight. I mean, they do. If you are with them, they fight all the time. But they always sort of find a way to come around and put it together nicely. And they don't fight by insulting each other. I've noticed, I've watched them fighting, and there's a lot of heated exchanges between you cannot do it, I can do it, this one cannot do it. They do a lot of that for over the last 48 hours. All that has been happening. And the parliamentary caucus of the MPP that I spoke to just about 5 minutes ago are ready that tomorrow, after a National Council meeting at the Alisa Hotel, they will be ready to make an announcement. But we can do a sneak preview into the kind of announcement that they will be making. And a sneak preview of the announcement they'll be making is what I'm sharing with you now. It is in order at this stage to pronounce a very hearty and big congratulations to the Member of Parliament for Winneba, Alexander Afenyo Markin, who becomes one of the youngest leaders of the majority caucus in Parliament. Afenyo Markin is the Member of Parliament for Winneba, and he has done an excellent job by turning Winneba into an MPP stronghold. Many people say that about him. The first time I heard about Afenyo's political prowess, I heard it incidentally through a man called Boakye Ejaku, whom you know. Boakye Ejaku had been campaign manager for the 2012 election, and after the election, I had gone to see him to converse with him and find out what happened in the campaign. Why did the MPP lose the election so abysmally? And why is he not part of the court process, etc., etc.? In my conversations with Boakye in his home village in the Somanya area, that's where Boakye likes to hold his meetings, all the way there. You have to go. There's a beautiful place, beautiful vegetation. I sat with him, and he told me that the real revelation of election 2012, a candidate and a member of parliament and a man that MPP should look at in the future, is a guy called Alexander Afenyo Markin. I'd never met Afenyo before at that time, but he said, this is the guy. That's what Boakye Ejaku told me. So then I started looking for Alexander Afenyo Markin. Since then, I've met him several times, and we've spoken. And I saw him. What I remember clearly of the debacle of 6th January 2021 in the parliament was Afenyo rose up in that night, in the heat of the night, and pointed to the clerk that the MP for Asin North was not supposed to be in the chamber because a writ had been served on parliament that his citizenship is being questioned by a citizen of the constituency. I remember clearly. It was Afenyo Markin's comments that generated all the quarrel and the fight of the night that completely embarrassed Ghana and sort of embarrassed our democracy. But it was Afenyo who put that sword in there. He's the one who told the clerk that this guy is not supposed to be here. And when he said that, there was massive resistance from the NDC. And then because of the level of the resistance and the threat of violence, the kind of high-pitched consternation going on in the chamber was responded to by people like Hawa Kumsin, Esla Owusu, who determined that they were not going to allow the NDC to bully them on that night. It was a big deal. It was a big deal in Parliament. It was great to be in Parliament that day. It was a very historical event, and it's going to find expression in many books as we go along. So Afenyo Markin rose up, and I was listening to him. Everyone was listening to him. He dropped this bullet. When he dropped the bullet, the NDC said, no way, they're not going to accept it. And then the NDC smelled that the people wanted to take out Asin North MP so that the vote will go in favor of the MPP because one person was gone, and that will give the MPP a lead of 2. So Afenyo was the subject. The NDC resisted. The MPP resisted. Chaos broke out. Eventually, the NDC won the vote anyway. But later on, subsequently, the Supreme Court pronounced to confirm the point that Afenyo Markin had made on Sijara. It took the Supreme Court 2 years. It took the legal process 2 years to come to the conclusion that on that night, Afenyo Markin was right. And he definitely was. Good evening, leader, and big congratulations to you on this occasion. Alexander Afenyo Markin will be announced tomorrow after the MPP's National Council meeting as the majority leader in Parliament. Congratulations to him. Yes, Mama Pat. Patricia PJ is New Patriotic Party. He's been an activist from Asokwa in Kumasi. It was thought that because she was running for, I believe, a 4th term, that there will be difficulty in the primaries. But in the end, Patricia was elected massively. She's represented Ashanti Caucus. And as a result of her involvement in the leadership of the parliament, now she's going to be deputy majority leader. Chairman Wontumi and his group are coming in from Kumasi tomorrow morning for the event. And if you are looking for Chairman Wontumi, he'll be at Alisa Hotel tomorrow morning at the National Council. I'm looking for him. So if you're also looking for him, let's meet after the meeting at Alisa Hotel, and then we can judge him small. Those of us who like Wontumi, he'll be there and we'll have a lot of laughter to that. I'll be in the office here. It's just a walking distance. So when I hear that council meeting has closed, I'll walk there to go and see Chairman Wontumi, because Wontumi will be there because Patricia PJ is an Ashanti MP and she's going to be the the deputy majority leader. The significant thing about this for election 2024 is that everyone knows that Patricia PJ has been a long-time supporter and admirer of Alan Kyerematen, the now renegade MPP member who is with the new political party. That didn't change Patricia's mind from her love for the MPP. So putting Patricia in is also sort of reconciling the parliamentary position and getting the MPP to understand that a contest is a contest. Contest is over. We move forward. So bringing Patricia PJ in is a very important nexus to connect the old, the new, the blue, the red, the yellow, and all the parts of the MPP together so that hopefully they can back Dr. Bawumia, and hopefully he probably will achieve success. Congratulations, Mama Pat. When I come to Asokwa, I'll come and eat fufu at the base. Congratulations to Patricia PJ. Yes, Anodompre. Mr. Anodompre is the chief whip. That's what he's going to be. He's going to remain the chief whip. So he is in there. My producer doesn't have their names, but let me just quickly get my phone and grab all the names. Mm-hmm. All right. Yes. So we are still on Mr. Anodompre. Now, I have Honorable Habib Idrisu here. Yes, that's Honorable Habib Idrisu. He's the MP for Tolon constituency in the northern region. He's going to be the first deputy whip. Habib is going to be the first deputy whip. Very hard-working member of parliament from Tolon, particularly hard-working. Habib is in parliament and he's doing a lot. And he's turned around the Tolon area to give MPP a significant lead in that area. So Habib will be there as the first deputy chief whip. Also, Honorable Alex Tete Jonubua. Honorable Alex Tete Jonubua is going to be the second the deputy chief whip. He's from Sefi Akontom Bra, and 2024. We know that a while ago the NDC also changed their parliamentary leadership in preparation for the election. You know that the NDC had elected their candidates earlier, and 1 year or so earlier. This morning we were having a chat in the newsroom, and somebody said to me that the NDC had elected their candidates earlier, but they have not put their campaign team together. How come the MPP just elected their candidate and they've gone on bam and put campaign team together? Where is the NDC's campaign team? I said, well, the NDC have been in campaigning mode for a while. They probably know who the campaign team is, but they'll tell us later on. But this NDC had the election year. To the parliamentary work, Chairman Sabosu is certainly in that Hall of Fame of members of Parliament of the Fourth Republic. If we are writing a book and we're writing the Hall of Fame of members of Parliament for parliamentary practice, and you want to take 3 people, Chairman Sabosu will be one of them. it's a difficulty to know that he's bowing out of Parliament. And I share the sentiments of Atachia, who told media today that he's very disappointed about Chairman Sabosu's exit. But yes, he's exited. And we thank God that he's still around to be able to impart their knowledge. This morning, he went into Parliament graciously. I don't know whether you've seen the video on TTTV. He went to Parliament graciously and took his seat in the second row, not on the leadership role. It's beautiful, isn't it? The democracy is really working. At the end of all of that, what can we say? Congratulations to Alexander Afenyo-Markin. That's the end of our first story for tonight. Now, we are getting into the heat of Good Evening Ghana as usual. It's 20 minutes to the top of the hour, and just to pay our bills and get our bosses happy so they don't start sending me texts. Here is our first commercial break. After that, it's going to be fireworks. We'll be right back. And later tonight, we'll be talking about the American elections because Dr. Sikanku is in the studio. So tonight, the most important story we have to share with you is a parliamentary analysis story. And of course, a bit of the historical story. We'll dovetail into that as well. And then we're going to talk about the Bawumia campaign team. We're going to discuss the role of Kwabena Agyapong and Asamoah Gyan. Those two roles will be important to discuss when the blind historian Dodo from Esiakwa joins us in the studio. He'll be coming very soon. Now, though, I saw something. I just read something on social media. I think it's very interesting. Somebody said that it is no longer Good Evening Ghana. It is Good Evening Fifi Kwete. I like the way Ghanaians, the way we do with our social media, and sometimes the way they treat this program. I have to be grateful to all of you viewers who continue to patronize this program and make us something to talk about. I think that you've done a fantastic job for all of us. We will work hard to always bring you the information with credibility, with panache, and of course, without prejudice. So thank you very much, viewers, for watching. When I look at Facebook and I see people who are watching, are criticizing and commenting, it brings gladness to all of us so that people recognize that the work we do is hard. But when people get to recognize your work, you're excited about it, aren't you? So am I. It's now 6 minutes at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Fifi Kwete, my good friend. He and Johnson Asiedu-Kete are my best friends, you know. Fifi Kwete said in a video urging Dr. Bawumia to apologize for something. Let's have a look at the video and then come and look at Fifi Kwete's own record as a minister and see who has to apologize to the people of Ghana. Fifi Kwete was Minister for Agriculture, and his record, we're going to put it on the screen. Some of it is showing already. We're going to show you his record as a Minister of Agriculture. Here's the video first, though. Fifi Kwete speaking at an NDC press conference last week.
Dr. Bawumia is running away from what clearly are policies he considered not to be good policies of the very government he serves in as vice president. Has he even had the humility to apologize to the country for any of those policies? No. John Mahama demonstrated a high sense of responsibility. Bawumia demonstrated that he has a massive responsibility deficit. Such a person does not have the character to lead our nation. If Dr. Bawumia has shown that he can literally stab Nana Akufo-Addo in the back by way of running away from poor policies while taking credit for the good things done, who else is Dr. Bawumia not able to betray and throw under the bus? If you can betray the man who overlooked other very qualified party officials to pick you, an outsider who was not even a party person, as running mate, then no one is safe under Bawumia. A Judas cannot be entrusted with the leadership of Ghana.
Good evening to Fifi Kwete. Fifi Kwete is saying what? He's saying he now loves Akufo-Addo more than, is more Catholic than the Pope. He's saying that Dr. Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. I don't even understand that. Viewers, do you understand that? Fifi Kwete says Dr. Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. Fifi Kwete is complaining that Dr. Bawumia has betrayed his boss. Fifi Kwete, the NDC General Secretary. He is complaining to journalists. I don't understand I don't know what kind of preparation went into that press conference. A General Secretary of an opposition party The flag bearer of the government party is the vice president and purportedly handpicked by the president, and then he won the election of his own party. You come to do a press conference and you're not telling the journalist what policy you have for the country. Every press conference that every political party does from this February, they have to be telling us what is the policy for the country. What are you going to do if you get elected? You come to a press conference and tell us that Dr. Bawumia has betrayed, guess who? Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo told you that he feels betrayed by Dr. Bawumia. Fifi Kwete, the man who has said the most acidic things about Akufo-Addo. That's what you saw in the video that we showed. Atacha was asking him. Fifi Kwete has said the most insulting things about Akufo-Addo. Fifi Kwete has said the most acidic things about Akufo-Addo. Today, because he has no message, he has absolutely no message, he comes to a press conference and says that Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo and is singing, crying Akufo-Addo's cry that a man who handpicked you from nowhere, you have betrayed him, then you can put the rest of the Ghana under the bus. What is the point that he's making? He is doing an attempt to discredit the MPP presidential candidate. Is that what the campaign is about? And if you want to discredit the MPP presidential candidate, say the things you people have been saying that Bawumia has told lies. Which lies he has told? You have to show it. Now they say that the digital bus that Bawumia launched. They say, oh, no. John Mahama launched it before. They are chasing the campaign. Sami Jemfi, you are the communication director, have you noticed that over the last 10 days, your people are chasing the campaign? They are not leading the campaign. They are not developing a narrative. They don't have a narrative. So as soon as since Bawumia spoke, the barometer shows that the NDC have been chasing the campaign. Fifi Kwete holds a press conference not telling Ghanaians that, listen, Ghana, this economic quagmire that you find yourself in, the solution to the problem is with John Mahama. John Mahama says he will do this and that and that and that. In fact, if you remember, when John Mahama was president, he did so and so and so, but they always say everything about John Mahama as if he's never been president before. Is that not an embarrassment? A candidate who has been vice president and president and is running for president again, you cannot run on his record. You are running on the betrayal that Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. Is that what the NDC is running on? I hope journalists can ask them these questions, that we have not come to this press conference to listen to whether Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo or not. We have come to demand the policy direction that the NDC is offering the Ghanaian people. That's what Fifi Kwete should be telling us. He shouldn't be telling us about that, because if he tells us about that, we will take him back to history. Things that we shouldn't be talking about because we are looking forward, we're going to take him back to history. He was Minister for Agriculture. He ran down the agriculture sector of Ghana. Every agricultural minister who looked at Fifi Kwete's profile as Minister of Agriculture will weep the tears for all Ghanaians. Fifi Kwete single-handedly ran down the agriculture of this country. Today, he speaks with the effrontery and says that Dr. Bawumia has betrayed, guess who? The man he has insulted more than anybody else. Fifi Kwete, President Kufuor is waiting for you in Eburi. Go and apologize to him for the things you said about him in 2008. Hurry up. Follow Aleta Jacob's example. Go and apologize to him. And if you have a message as a general secretary to deliver to the Ghanaian people, tell them the message. Don't come and tell us that Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. So what? Do you remember the video, the famous guy who said he's become famous but he doesn't have money? The guy who said, oh, my baby, bisa ose okoye den o. Fifi Kwete, oh, my baby, bisa ose, efa ohu ben. Bawumia has betrayed, oh, hesanini. Is it your matter? Come and tell the Ghanaian people your matter. Is it your matter? They don't have a message anymore. They call a whole press conference and say, ladies and gentlemen of the press, Dr. Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. Huh? Is that a message? You call a press conference and come and say that Dr. Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. That's your message? Fifi Kwete, General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. The National Democratic Congress that we all love so much. The National Democratic Congress of Alhaji Muhammad Idrisu. The National Democratic Congress of J.J. Rawlings. The National Democratic Congress of Christina Nwaku Nyama, the National Democratic Congress of Baba Kamara, the National Democratic Congress of Totobi Kwachi, seasoned men. Fifi Kwete is representing the National Democratic Congress, NDC General Secretary. He holds a press conference with 10 months to go for the election. What is the story? Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. Show the video again. Show the video again. Let's see it. Show the video.
Dr. Bawumia is running away from what clearly are policies he considered not to be good policies of the very government he serves in as vice president. Has he even had the humility to apologize to the country for any of those policies? No. John Mahama demonstrated a high sense of responsibility. Bawumia demonstrated that he has a massive responsibility deficit. Such a person does not have the character to lead our nation. If Dr. Bawumia has shown that he can literally stab Nana Akufo-Addo in the back by way of running away from poor policies while taking credit for the good things done, who else is Dr. Bawumia not able to betray and throw under the bus? If you can betray the man who overlooked other very qualified party officials to pick you an outsider who was not even a party person as running mate, then no one is safe under Bawumia. A Judas cannot be entrusted with the leadership of Ghana.
Somebody sends a text and says that, hello, Paul, are you now working with the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority? Because your dressing is giving that vibe. I'm just asking for a friend. Guy G, how are you? Thank you very much for watching. Yeah. I work with the Customs Division of GR. If you bring goods in and you don't pay the right taxes, I'll catch you. Custom Division. That's my rank. Custom Division. That was Fifi Kwete, viewers. That was Fifi Kwete. Now, Fifi Kwete was Minister for Agric. Let's see his record. So this story is the agriculture sector still the backbone of Ghana's economy? This is January 6, 2016. Listen to the story. And it's as follows. Honorable Fifi Kwete explained that the projected slow growth in the sector in 2015 has been largely due to the effects of weather condition. He added that the budgetary situation has not been dramatically decreased. However, and viewers, here's the catch. However, in a sharp rebuttal, Ms. Clara Osei-Boateng, Director of Policy Advocacy Program at Send Ghana, expressed disappointment at the minister's comment. Quoting Sarah, if in the 21st century, Ghana still relies on weather in order to boost agriculture, in order to boost growth, then it is an indication that the country has done very little as far as agriculture is concerned. 2016, Fifi Kwete, running down agriculture, attended a public event and told them that it is because of the weather. The lady from Send Ghana said that, what are you talking about? In 2016, you are telling us that weather is the reason why agriculture is growing at negative? Fifi Kwete, he will not apologize to Ghanaians. You took what the most important sector of our society, food and agriculture, ran it aground such that it was growing at negative. In the GDP analysis, agriculture was growing at negative under Fifi Kwete. He has the effrontery to say Dr. Bawumia, who has given him a Ghana card. Dr. Bawumia has given John Mahama a Ghana card. Dr. Bawumia has given Sami Jenfi a Ghana card. Dr. Bawumia has given Omani Boame a Ghana card. Dr. Bawumia has given Paul Adomochi a Ghana card. Dr. Bawumia has given all of us a Ghana card. Fifi Kwete now has a Ghana card. He says that the man who gave a Ghana card, it should be apologizing. He who ran down agriculture. So that, why does he think we've forgotten? I mean, in other places, Fifi Kwete cannot even talk. You took agriculture and ran it down to zero as a minister for agriculture. You have forgotten. You come and stand as if you are the paragon of virtue. You are a failed agriculture minister. In the days of the revolution that people like Fifi Kwete like, where would he be? They took Amedome and went to shoot him. Rawlings, he took Amedome, he went to shoot him. In the days of the revolution, where would Fifi Kwete be? Running agriculture at negative. In 2016, you think we've forgotten. And then you come and stand there as General Secretary and tell us that Dr. Bawumia has betrayed Akufo-Addo. Is it your matter? Come and tell us what you did with Agric. You are running for election. John Mahama is running for election. Show us that when Fifi Kwete has not even mentioned anywhere when he's talking that when I was Agric minister. Please, journalists, challenge him. Let's see whether between now and December, in any of Fifi Kwete's comments, he can talk about his time at agriculture. Fifi Kwete, I am challenging you. Come and speak to Ghanaians about your time as Agric minister. Let Bawumia speak to Ghanaians about his time as vice president. Let John Mahama speak to Ghanaians about his time as president. Fifi Kwete, come and tell Ghanaians about your time as minister for agriculture in Ghana. Fifi Kwete, General Secretary of NDC, come, do, what does he call it? Setting the record straight. Come and set the record straight on your time as agriculture minister. We are waiting for you. Why am I doing this? Because we are lifting the standards of our campaign for the future of our country. We are lifting the standards of our campaign for the future of our country. So Fifi Kwete, come, don't do press conferences without telling us your time as agriculture. Anytime you do that, I'll remind you. I'll broadcast your entire press conference and show Ghanaians that you, Fifi Kwete, you have refused, ignored to talk about your time as Minister for Agriculture. Let Dr. Bawumia come and talk to us about his time as a deputy governor of the Central Bank. Dr. Bawumia, please come and tell us about your time as the deputy governor of the Central Bank. Come and tell us about your time as vice president. Come and tell us about your time when the African Development Bank said you should go to Zimbabwe and help them to run their currency. Dr. Bawumia, come and tell us what happened. It is only then that you can convince Ghanaians to vote for you. John Dramani Mahama, come and tell us what happened when you were president. Fifi Kwete, come and tell us what happened when you were a great minister. Don't come and tell us somebody has betrayed somebody. Do we care about that? We care about our future. We don't care about your funny betrayals. What we want to know is that the taxpayer gave you a responsibility through the president's appointment under Article 78. You were appointed as Minister of Agriculture. You run it down. And then you come and tell us that somebody is betraying somebody. You hold a press conference. You can't say that you're a minister. You pretend you've not been minister before. You've been a minister. Fifi Kwete, you were deputy minister of finance under Dr. Dufour. What is Dr. Dufour's testimony about you? You think we don't know? You think we don't know Dr. Dufour's testimony about you? You think we don't know? In this campaign, we shall tell you what your boss's testimony was about you. We will tell you. Come and tell us that I was agriculture minister. That's what I was able to achieve. That's all we need to hear. You come and tell us somebody is betraying somebody. So what should we do about that? Fifi Kwete, good evening, sir. Your time at agriculture is under Periscope. Come and tell us what you did as Minister for Agriculture. You ran down agri. Give me the rest of the stories. Let's get on with it. Give me the rest of the stories. Fifi Kwete said that it's lazy analysis to worry about declining agri contribution to GDP. Fifi Kwete. Ghanaians, are we listening? The General Secretary of the NDC, he told us that it is lazy analysis. Can you imagine how insulting this is to Ghanaians? Fifi Kwete, who sits down and insults everybody. This is what he told Ghanaians, that if we are thinking about declining agriculture contribution to GDP, it is lazy analysis. These are the things that occasioned their 1 million plus defeat in 2016. Everybody was angry about this. You, a Greek minister, holding the taxpayers' purse to produce cassava, to produce plantain, to produce planting for food and jobs. He couldn't even think about a policy to tell us. He came to Agric with zero policy, left with negative. Also, if Akoto came and said planting for food and jobs. And we have planted for food and jobs. Fifi Kwete was there, same Agric. He ran the... Fifi Kwete was the reason why John Mahama's economy was doing 3.4 growth per year. Fifi Kwete. Because Agric was negative. So if industry is doing 6% and Agric is doing -5, when you do the analysis, it will pull it down and the whole economy will come to 3.4, an abysmal figure, because Fifi Kwete had run down Agric negative. And then he tells Ghanaians that it's lazy analysis to worry about declining Agric contribution. Fifi Kwete. Fifi Fiavi Kwete. Senior brother. God be with you and Fifi Kwete. Because he's a Christian, I know his Christian values. God be with you. But when you hold a press conference, come and tell us what you did with agriculture. And as I've said, Dr. Bawumia should come and tell us what he's done with Vice President. Dr. Bawumia should tell us what he did at the Bank of Ghana. Dr. Bawumia should tell us when the African Development Bank said he should go to Zimbabwe and help them with their currency. When he worked for Robert Mugabe, he should come and tell us what he did. John Dramani Mahama, come and tell us what you did as Vice President, President, Minister for Communication, DCE, everything, all that, Member of Parliament. Tell us what you did. Akufo-Addo ran his elections consistently since 2008 and said that I have had a 40-year track record in Ghanaian politics. Nobody can put any corruption to me. That's how Akufo-Addo ran. on the record. He said, I've been Attorney General, I've been Foreign Minister, I've been in Ghanaian politics since 1975. Not an iota of corruption has been raised against me. I can protect the purse. This is what Akufo-Addo said. He ran on his record. John Dramani Mahama, please run on your record. If we are looking at the future and people present themselves for election, we check their record. Fifi Kwete said it is lazy analysis. Is that what we are going to re-elect? Is that what the new 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds should re-elect? Re-elect the people who told us that it is lazy analysis to worry about declining contributions to agriculture. Who is General Secretary of the party today? Fifi Kwete. Is that what Ghanaians should vote for? Ghanaians, we are being invited to vote for a person who told us that it is lazy to worry about our declining agriculture. Agriculture, the food and butter, bread basket is declining. Fifi Kwete told us in 16 December 2015, Joy FM Online published at 8:27 p.m. 16 December 2015, Fifi Kwete said, it is lazy to worry about declining agriculture contribution. Fifi Kwete, he said that. Fifi Kwete said that. What else did he say? Let's look at the last one. This is the same one. Is that all that we have? Yes. So this is my story. This is my song. That as a journalist, I am dedicated to ensure that in this election, politicians are speaking to the fact. Because I have been covering elections and we are tired of politicians speaking to things that are not factual. Politicians generating enmity, strife, and anger against other politicians. Politicians want to come to power, so say anything, and then they'll go to a bridge to go and apologize 10 years after the fact. By that time, they have misled Ghanaians to cast a bad ballot because they told Ghanaians that somebody is a thief. It turned out the person was not a thief at all. Ghanaians voted for something else, and something else happened. The economy went down. Agric was run at negative by Fifi Kwete because he took a paper and a pen and was doing, set the record straight. He went to Parliament. Atachian asked him questions. He couldn't answer them. And they are doing the same thing today. Nothing is changing. We should not allow that. We should fight it, whether it's MPP or NDC. And as I'm saying, Dr. Bawumia must come and tell us what he did at Bank of Ghana. Come and tell us. Dr. Bawumia should come and tell us what he did as vice president. He should come and tell us. Dr. Bawumia should come and tell us. He was in Zimbabwe as the economic advisor, recommended by the African Development Bank. He advised Mugabe on currency. He should come and tell us. Mahamudu Bawumia should tell us. Dramani Mahama should tell us. Fifi Kwete should be apologizing. He has nothing to say. He should be begging Ghanaians. If this was England, they will laugh at him and say, you were a Greek minister who ran down the system. What are you coming to talk about? But I don't know how journalists don't like that. They don't ask that question. They are very nice, gentle people. They don't want to ask that question. They don't want it to look like they are MPP. They don't want it to look like they are challenging the politician. But the journalists are aware. All the journalists are aware. Fifi Kwete, the journalists have been gossiping about you. They just don't want to ask you because they are courteous. They watch you and they are wondering what is happening here. Okay, let's move on now. My producer is urging me to move on because we're running out of time. Let's show the Fifi Kwete montage. It's just 3 minutes long. I'll come back and talk about Bernard Mona, and then we'll move to our next story. Dodo is here, and Dr. Sikanko is also here. Here is the montage that we have created for Fifi Kwete. Have a look.
Very sorry for Dr. What's his name? Mahamudu Bawumia. Is that it? All he needs to do is to take a good look at what happened to Alhaji Aliyu Mahama. Is Mahamudu Bawumia actually dreaming that in the unlikely event of MPP winning power, somehow, after Akufo-Addo had run his term, he, Mahamudu Bawumia, will be made a candidate of the MPP? Are you dreaming, Mahamudu Bawumia? Are you dreaming? You don't know the party in which you are? You don't understand that if you are not an Ashanti or an Akim, you have no chance?
Northern region, you need to do everything possible to ensure that that son of yours, that is an absolute disgrace and a humiliation to all of you, never rises to become the president of this country. Bawumia has shown that he can literally stab Nana Akufo-Addo in the back by way of running away from poor policies while taking credit for the good things done. Who else is Dr. Bawumia not able to betray and throw under the bus? If you can betray the man who overlooked other very qualified party officials to pick you an outsider who was not even a party person as running mate, then no one is safe under Bawumia. A Judas cannot be entrusted with the leadership of Ghana.
It is my great privilege to hand over the flag of the New Patriotic Party to you, Mahamudu Bawumia.
Bawumia is the worst of them all, the biggest liar. And if you thought he was the only one, I want to tell you that even his wife is another dangerous one. So it's a couple that is full of danger and deception. So you have to do everything possible to save Ghana from the hand of these two people. Not in our history should we have them. You don't understand that if you are not an Ashanti or Nachim, you have no chance.
A Judas cannot be entrusted with the leadership of Ghana.
Even his wife is another dangerous one. So it's a couple that is full of danger and deception.
Never rises to become the president of this country.
Oh, Fifi Kwete, why? Fifi Kwete has drawn one of Akufo-Addo's critics. My friend and the eternal leader of demonstrations, Bernard Mona. Bernard Mona certainly has a space in the sustainability of Ghana's democracy. Bernard Mona has joined all protests, whether it's NDC. He believes in protests and he has sacrificed for protests. Bernard Mona was part of Let My Vote Count. He's part of almost every demonstration. And he has stood his ground on this matter. He's a critic of Akufo-Addo's government, which is okay. But Bernard Mona has spoken about Fifi Kwete's... is there a text for Bernard Mona? There's a video. So I'm going to show you the video of what Bernard Mona said. So here's the video. Have a look.
That it will take non-nordness to tell nordness what is grace and what is not a grace.
Okay.
How can Obi onye nordna? Onu mom na osu emma nordness, echen yan nordness. Did we ever complain that Bawumia is a disgrace? Or we ever complain that your mama is a disgrace? Na party inti. And it has to take other people to be making commentary. For the records, John Mama Papa, any Bawumia Papa, Omunina Kwame Nkrumah eye ejuma. They were part of the Northern People's Party. For the records, baby John Mama ne Papa fie ewo in Accra, Kanda. Oha na Bawumia ne Papa ne fie ewo. For the records, Tamale, the same location, Bawumia ne fie wo, ne Papa fie wo. Oha na John Mama ne Papa fie wo. And say Oko outside, particularly in the UK, is the same. Intima Obiama, the NDC and MPP raised to the bottom. For 32 years, no. Mona mama or my bibi akofo mama yan. No, 32 years. NDC served Jerry Rawlings for 8 years. Kufuor served with the MPP for 8 years. John Mama Atamils Omoga served for another 8 years. And then Akufo-Addo is serving 8 years. 32 years. Yeah, every day. It is about way na one way. It's not about say we are pushing an agenda and a way aye way into yes we are about to also and a way at the aba. These pettiness, it doesn't add to anything for me. Yanko kachire Ghana for. Maybe 24-hour economy eba. Sana jo mama kaya. Bawumia say it doesn't, it's not well thought through. Then Awodiba as an alternative to the 24-hour economy. See, Tana Jomama Ebeka said he was going to legislate, and now or the Okada Bebano. Bawumia Eka said or the.
And I agree with Bernard Mona, don't I? I agree with Bernard Mona. Let's deal with the issue. Somebody says 24-hour economy. What are you saying? Don't come and tell us that somebody has betrayed somebody and all that. When you have failed as an agric minister and Ghanaians are waiting for you to come and explain why you insulted us, that thinking about agriculture's negative contribution and its declining status is laziness. That's what Fifi Kwete said. It's laziness. Bernard Mona is telling that you can't, as a non-Northerner, come and tell Northerners that somebody said disgrace. You can't say that. I don't know why. And I like what Bernard Mona is saying. And I hope that everyone joins the narrative, the bandwagon, and tell the politicians that this is a campaign about issues. We're not going to allow 2024's campaign to be about anything else. If all our campaigns had been about issues, it would have been better. We're going to show you some historical campaigns today. And producer, yes, sorry, I forgot. We'll do that story very quickly before, after the text messages. The story on the historical campaign. So when the text messages are going on, we talk about that. I'd like to speak about my senior brother and uncle, Kwabena Agyei Agyapong. I think there's something that has to be said for this man. In the recent history, from the time he became General Secretary of the NPP up until today, there is something to be said about Kwabena Agyapong. When you look at Kwabena Agyapong and you look at him now, what do you see? You see practicality, determination, tenacity, and absolute total loyalty to the New Patriotic Party. I salute you, Mr. Kwabena Agyapong. He has demonstrated total loyalty to the New Patriotic Party. This is a man who was kicked out as General Secretary together with the chairman. Chairman was so angry, he filed a writ in court. Kwabena decided that he would not go to court. He went to his house to go and stay quietly. He continued to be there and to connect with MPP parliamentarians. I'm telling you, most of the MPP MPs are always found in his house. They are talking every day. In 2020, he got a call from the presidential candidate, Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who has been his long-time, very, very good friend. He managed his campaign way back in 1998. They'd been very, very tight. When Kwabena was running for General Secretary, he was endorsed by Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo called him and said, my good friend, I know that you're not in government. Running a second-term campaign. Remember what you and I have done on campaigns. I think you should come and join me. Against all odds, against many party people, seniors didn't like it. Kwabena was put on the Akufo-Addo's campaign. Come 2021, some people lobbied for Kwabena to get a position in the government. Other people said no, it was back and forth. Kwabena just stayed back, no problem, quiet. He filed his nomination to contest for president. He didn't win in the first round. He left. He said the party has made a choice. They want Dr. Bawumia. I will go by it. There's not many people who are loyal to a fault, to a political party, to a cause, to a vision like Kwabena Agyei Agyapong. And that is what people must emulate. That is what people. Recently, I went to visit him in his house. It was very late in the night. Him. And those days when you were going to Kwabena Agyapong's house, all you needed to do was to get to East Legon's American house and tell them I'm going to Kwabena Agyapong's house. Because from the American house to his house is about a 20-minute drive. But he was the only person staying there. This is 2001. He was the only one staying in that bush, that place. He's still living there today. Today, when you are going there, it's not a bush anymore. I was telling him. And so when he saw me off, he walked me out. And he was pointing to me which house used to be here. And he said it was only that is here. We laughed about it. Great guy. We are much, much younger colleagues. Myself from Brazil and others will go to his Adabraka office. He will buy for us a Chinese from walk-in restaurant back in the day. Way back when he was on television running commentary and doing small MPP politics. 1997. He'll buy walk-in and then we'll sit down and eat. I was in Legon. We'll come from Legon and I tell my roommate that I'm going to visit Kwabena Agyapong. They say they want to come along. And then we all go and sit down and chat. And that's how we've known him that long. Look at his loyalty to the NPP. Today he's been named in Dr. Bawumia's campaign. Look at his loyalty to the party. And and you will not hear Kwabena Agyapong say anything foul about any politician. You will never hear the things that Fifi Kwete does. You will never hear Kwabena Agyapong say that. You can look at all his tapes. From the time he was President Kufuor's spokesperson till today, he has demonstrated that he practices politics of issues. And even when he has to come after people, he doesn't. He will use very decent words. You can tell that he's a very well brought up Infantsman chap. Very, very well brought up. These are the examples that we need for our politics, not the kinds of things Fifi Kwete is doing. Kwabena Agyapong was presidential spokesperson, sterling qualities, one of the best that we had. He opened up the castle to journalists. Castle Briefing, he started it. We still do it today. So when you're looking for people of gravitas to run our politics, whether it's NDC or MPP, you can find them. Let's hope that the MPP and NDC put up those people in front. People and persons of gravitas, not the things Fifi Kwete is saying. This is Kwabena Agyapong. Good evening, sir. And I don't even know how to describe it. This is a man who has showed fierce loyalty to his party. And he has shown decorum when he's talking about things. Recently, we showed his video on football, the Ghana Football Association stuff. And he had granted me an interview in preparation for the World Cup that occurred in Russia. I believe that was 2018. And look at what he said. He said he told the NDC people, and the NDC people are his friends. He doesn't consider them enemies. He speaks with decorum like that. In 2008, we interviewed him about a subject. And Kwabena was tempted to use very harsh words on the NDC. In 2016, we interviewed him about a subject of 2008 election. And the question that I put to him during the documentary interview, it was such a question that he thought about it and he was very unhappy with that narrative, the prospect. I'm going to show you the video soon. Hold on, it's coming. And so he talked about it, but look at the words that he chose to use. Something that was very upsetting to him about how political opponents have said. Look at the choice of words he used. That is decorum. That is leadership. Have a look.
The MPP on paper has the best political structure in this country, if not the whole of Africa, because we are represented right to the minutest detail in every community. The NDC went about massive propaganda. I mean, I was listed as the third richest. There was a list of people who had accounts in so-called Prudential Bank, and if you put together the cumulative effect of that, it was more than what the Bank of Ghana had.
Do you think we have gotten?
MPP on paper has the best political structure in this country, if not the whole of Africa, because we are represented right to the minutest detail in every community. The NDC went about massive propaganda. I mean, I was listed as the third richest. There was a list of people who had accounts in so-called Prudential Bank, and if you put together the cumulative effect of that, it was more than what the Bank of Ghana had. The MPP on paper has the best political structure in this country, if not the whole of Africa, because we are represented right to the minutest detail in every community. The NDC went about massive propaganda. I mean, I was listed as the third richest. There was a list of people who had accounts in so-called Prudential Bank, and if you put together the cumulative.
That's the story about he being listed as the third richest. He was very, very upset with this. When we're discussing it, he didn't even want to talk about it. I said, let me put on the camera. And he said, okay, you put on your camera. And look at how he addressed it before the camera. But he was very unhappy about it. But as soon as the camera is on and you're a political leader and you're having a discourse that is going public, you have to even compose yourself, your body language, the way you communicate. That's the videos I'm going to show you in a while about 69 selection, 79 selection, up to 2000 selection. And then Dodo will come in and we talk. And Dr. Sikanko will come in and we talk about America. He's on his way out to cover for us the Super Tuesday that's happening in a few days' time in the United States. H.S. Sikanko is here to bid us farewell. He's traveling abroad tomorrow. And he'll be covering the event for us live. But that's Kwabena Agyapong. That's the spirit. That's what we need. Viewers, young people in Ghana, these are the politicians you need. We need them, 1,000 of them in MPP, 1,000 of them in NDC. That's the way our country will go forward. Not Fifi Kwete. No. It can be Fifi Kwete if he changes his narrative. But not the narrative that Fifi Kwete is carrying right now. It's a no. What Kwabena Agyapong carries is better. It's greater. And there are people in the NDC who carry that narrative. That's why I mentioned their names. Alhaji Baba Kamara, Christina Makunuama, Emma Mitchell. These are all NDC people, particularly decent politicians. Spio Gabra, they are NDC people. Peter Podugbe, he's an NDC man. Decent guy. They speak well. They are intelligent. They have policy initiatives. Not Fifi Kwete. What is he talking about? The General Secretary of the NDC? This is the General Secretary of the NDC. We know of Alhaji Hudu Yaya. We remember him. I went to the NDC head office several times to interview Alhaji Hudia. I'm not talking about the current head office, I'm talking about the old one at Paloma. That's where we used to practice our journalism. Go to Paloma, climb upstairs, go and see GS. He's there, you ask him questions. Decent guy, Alhaji Hudia. Decent guy. Of course, I knew him from law school when we were in Makola. He sat behind me in class. And I always, when Alhaji comes, we all stand up. Whether you're MPP or NDC, Alhaji enters the class, he says, oh, it's okay, you can sit down. We all stand up, oh, Alhaji, Alhaji, oh, Alhaji. Because he's such a decent guy. Not Fifi Kwete. What are people saying on the text?
Mohammed Gargo from La Paz say, Mr. Paul, the NDC as a party do not have elders in their party, so everyone has been trained to be insulting people's fathers. If, like, an insult is to be won, is to win an election, they have the men to do that. But an election is to show what you are going to do and not lies, insults, and propaganda. Ghanaians now have full memories and no more short memories again. Greetings to my boss, Farouk Ali Mahama. Okay. We also have from Prosper, watching us from Labadi. He says, interestingly enough, Paul, the journalists who attended that press conference said they had no questions. I guess it's either they considered the presser to be empty or they didn't understand it at all. Now, when the agricultural sector grew by 7.4% in 2008 and dwindled drastically to 0.04% by the third quarter of 2015 under Fifi Kwet's watch as the West Agric Minister, he told us it's lazy analysis to be worried about the declining agric performance. He's still not refined. Lukman Abubakar from NPP Leipzig says, our democracy has matured, and so it beats my imagination that some political actors, such as Fifi Kwete, will run verbal diarrhea and be this tribally bigoted in their way of playing the game of politics. Indeed, common events will certainly cast their shadows before them. It's possible with DMB. Nana Jimmy B from Kumasi says, I always wonder, Paul, so can't the General Secretary of the NDC do his politics without attacking, insulting, and trying to run down DMB? It bores most of us. We can't do politics without insulting. I just watched the comment section on your Facebook wall, and some of the comments there are terrible. So can't they do politics without insulting at this day and age? Okay. Also, we have from TB watching us from Medina saying, Sami Jemfi likes to distort and fabricate lies onto Bawumia's mouth too much. When Bawumia says A, Sami says he said A+, therefore he's the liar. I really don't understand this. In the morning after Bawumia released his vision for the next chapter of Ghana, Sami Jemfi was on Metro TV's GMG creating his own mixture of the potions the doctor didn't create and attributing them to the next president of Ghana. For instance, under promoting financial inclusion, Dr. Bawumia said, quote, ladies and gentlemen, we faced a major problem of very few people having access to financial services. To solve this problem, I championed the implementation of mobile money interoperability, MMI, unquote. According to the learned lawyer, Dr. Bawumia said he gave birth to the idea and then went on to read articles of the NDC birthing the idea as if people who actually read didn't hear about their $1.2 billion fiasco in the MMI implementation. Dr. Bawumia saved us a lot of money for Ghana, for which some of us are forever grateful. And lastly, Graham Niga says, please, Paul, I'd like to have a copy of your yet-to-be-published book. Please help me. Don't disappoint me. Well, we'll work on that. Briefly also, I'd like to share a word from our sponsors, Armin Alternative Medical Hospital. You know how important health is. They say, they are the first modernized herbal and homeopathy medicine in Ghana with trained and experienced medical practitioners from KNUST combined with state-of-the-art medical equipment. Every single hidden ailment will be diagnosed with ease and treatment given to you in absolutely no time. We offer consultation, counseling, physiotherapy, homeopathy to treat most ailments. Now, please do note that your life is very, very precious. So do secure good health with Armin Alternative Medical Hospital. Now, you can do this finding us between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through to Saturday. And on Sundays, because at church, we work 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. Please locate us at Klagon on the Lashibia Shaman Road near the Underbridge and book an appointment with us on, please write this number down, 0207 229 505 or 0244 227 192. I'll say it again, 0207 229 505 or 0244-227-192. And as always with Armin Alternative Medical, God is the healer. Annette.
Okay, so from Joseph Opon, he says, there's confusion in the NDC because of the level Dr. Bawumia has taken this year's campaign to, and the meticulous way he is organizing his campaign. While Fifi Kwete, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, Sami Jemfi, and Dr. Omani Boama are so busy telling every Ghanaian that Dr. Bawumia is a liar, he, Dr. Bawumia, is doing something of its kind in our political history. His vision for Ghana, together with his way of organizing his campaign, is something that the flag bearer of the NDC cannot even dream about. Should be told, even the NDC supporters admire Dr. Bawumia and they wish he was their flag bearer. Now, Nana Owusu says he, and in context he means Fifi Kwete, said that Dr. Bawumia will never be made the NPP presidential candidate. And now he is the flag bearer of the NPP. Does he watch himself at all? Louis Ayesu says Dr. Bawumia is forcing the NDC to do the kind of politics they are totally not comfortable with, which is the issue-based politics. Safian Adams, watching us from Pusiga, says, good evening, Paul. Dr. Bawumia has demonstrated he is serious and ready to form the next government, taking into cognizance what he has done so far after his election as the flag bearer of the NPP. Elected in November with a powerful victory speech, outlining his vision, constitutes his campaign team and manifesto committees in February, while his main contender, who was elected in May 2023, has done virtually nothing except the 24-hour confusion. Now, Eunice Esel says, you are right, Paul. The NDC has no message to give. All we hear these days is the NDC trying to discredit Bawumia. Now, lastly, Wisdom Ampin says, a country where people lie to get and still have the right to go to parliament for vetting. What a country. Hello, Mr. Fifi. Now, let's hear from our sponsor, Betway. This is a top-up LPM. He says, Charlie, the season is getting hotter and the odds are getting even sweeter. Don't be left out in the action. Betway's top-up is here to assist customers with easier deposit options. Look out for the top-up icon at a Momo vendor near you and deposit cash into your Betway account. Visit betway.com.gh and click on top-up or call us on 0552 923-771, 0552-923-771 to be a vendor now. No charges on deposit. Bet the responsible way. No underrating. Now, Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Terms and conditions definitely apply. Betway gets way more. Now, from our friends at Lifton Elevators Ghana, it says, enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmities stand our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in and day out. Worry no more, because with portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, you are sure of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It is a simple-to-use, self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility to choose from. You may call it luxury, but it is a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or in the office. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days with modification to your building. Visit Lifton Elevators Ghana at Sakumono for your solutions and free consultations. Call us now on 0200-535-515, 0200-535-515, or email us at elevatorsgh@gmail.com.
Okay. From Kobe Amwa, he says, while Dr. Bawumia is discussing ideas to prosper Ghana, Fifi Kwete and the NDC are discussing Bawumia. From Wilberforce Shumisi, he says NDC has never resorted to issue-based campaigns. They are always using propaganda, insults, and tribal information. And this one is coming from Nana Kofi Dankwa. He says NDC has nothing to offer Ghanaians. And lastly, from Muniru Yaro, he says, keep up the good work, Paul. And from our sponsor, Blue Jeans Energy Drink. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, and B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It is indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It is in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190, 0208 128 190, or 055 001 0000, 055 001 0000. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much. And Dodu is here. Good evening, Dodu.
Good evening, sir. Let me greet my good friend Adrian Kessie, who is the Deputy Constituency Secretary in Adenta Constituency, and also let me greet the incoming MP for Adenta, Honorable Akosia.
Okay, interesting. Dude, I'm going to show a few things on the touchscreen and I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay. We'll do a short 10 to 15 minutes conversation about... Afenyo Makin is now the leader. It's been confirmed. It will be officially announced tomorrow, but he is going to be the leader. Viewers, because of our passion for this year's election and the way we want to show how the election should be issue-based, that's our commitment. You can say, good evening, Ghana's commitment to an election-based issue. You can call out our biases. You can call out our shiftings, our right-wing politics. You can call all that out. No problem about it. What we are focused on is to drive an issue-based campaign. So if an NPP person says something that's not issue-based, we will deal with it. We have already asked Dr. Bawumia to show us what he did as vice president and to show us what he did elsewhere. Now, let me take you to down memory lane. And I have to mount the touch screen again to do that. Abrefa Buzia is on the TV. And at this stage, it's my pleasure to greet you, my friend who is the nephew of Kofi Abrefa Buzia, Nana Kofi Bame. Those of you who know Nana Kofi Bame, he's recovering very, very well. Azobi is doing very, very well. I went to visit him the other day in his house at Hacho, and we had such a nice time. I'll be seeing him again this weekend. Nana Kofi Bame's uncle is Professor Buzia. When we're in Legon, Kofi Bame will tell you that the suits that Buzia had used for his inauguration in 1969, he can show it to you. His father, who is Professor Bame, was Buzia's younger brother. And so Nana Kofi Bame told us a lot about his uncle, Prime Minister Buzia. So we remember him. May he rest in eternal peace. Now, at 18 minutes to the top of the hour, 11 o'clock, we are going to show you how government Ghanaian campaigns used to be and compare to the vitriol that we're seeing today. And let's ask ourselves, where did we come from? The other day, I promised to go and see the NCC boss. Catherine, I'll come and see you. Because the NCC must take this up and start looking at how we can sanitize the campaign. I'm going to take you to 1969. This is an election. And it was between the Progress Party. The laws had banned the CPP. And so the CPP people had coalesced around the now New Alliance of Liberal. That was Samuel Kudjeto's party, Senior Samuel Kudjeto. That was his party. Now, he won the North Town seat on the now ticket in the Volta region. Afro Gbede, as they call him, Gbedema, who was the first finance minister of Ghana, he had run away from parliament because Nkrumah was looking to harm him. Nkrumah was looking to harm his own finance minister. And so Gbedema had left. And so Gbedema was allowed, because many of the Nkrumah people were disqualified from running for office in 69. But because Gbedema had been in exile, he had left the parliament and his seat was empty because he was running away from the Osage. I'm going to show you 69's campaign, 79's campaign, and 2000's campaign. Let's see whether, in spite of the heat, that these politicians guarded their words. They really guarded their words. First of all, let's look at the first video of Prime Minister Buzia. It's very, very short. Buzia first.
It is the aim of the Progress Party to provide on an increasing scale the welfare services which will raise the quality of life for the people and equalize economic opportunities for all Ghanaians. We cannot be economically independent unless the economy of Ghana and the whole financial network is to a large extent in the hands of Ghanaians themselves.
You saw the rally, the crowd. Buzia was preaching the message that Achampon took over. Put the commanding heights of economy into the hands of Ghanaians. That's Buzia. That was his message for 1969. He said that we cannot be economically independent unless the economy is in the hands of Ghanaians themselves. You saw the crowd at the rally. This is political rally. He didn't say somebody is kwasia and somebody is a fool and somebody is a... What's happening? I'm on the floor. Yes. This is Prime Minister Buzia, who is just sharing his doves over there. And Buzia was talking about the economic empowerment of Ghanaians. This is the campaign. The music was in the campaign. You can see Professor Buzia at the end of the speech. He's sharing the doves to the people. He's exciting the crowd. He's making them happy. Can they come back to me in the studio and then I can introduce him? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So that was Prime Minister Buzia. His competitor was Mr. Bedema, who used to be finance minister at Nkrumah. He was a leader. It wasn't a presidential election, so nobody was presidential candidate. Everyone was a leader of their party with one constituency. So Prime Minister Buzia was Wenchi. That was his constituency. The constituency that will now be held by the Honorable Kojo Frimpong. Inshallah, Kojo Frimpong will win Wenchi and become the candidate. So that's Prime Minister Buzia's constituency, Wenchi. Now, this is Bedema. Have a look.
Another is that democracy envisages the existence of alternative choice for the people. I ask our opponents who do not share our faith to also play the game cleanly, so that they are not rejected overwhelmingly, and whether we win this election or they win, there will always be an alternative choice for the people. If we should win, we shall offer the nation a good government. If we should lose, we shall lose with grace and remain a vigorous but not subversive opposition.
That was Komla Bedema. Komla Bedema was speaking to his supporters, and you heard what he said. He said, if we win, we will render a good government. If we lose, we will be a great opposition. He was telling his supporters, when you send that kind of message to your supporters, nobody's going to fight at polling stations. Nobody's going to fight when you send that kind of message. If we win, we will be a good government. If they win, we will be a strong opposition. That's what Komla Bedema said. This was the last rally for the 69 elections. Of course, I'm sorry, I wasn't born at the time. I'm very sorry. But this is the record. This is the history. That's what Komla Bedema told the crowd. That is how the politics used to be. Now, I'm going to show you a video of another man. His name is Joe Appiah. Now, Joe Appiah was a very angry man because Joe Appiah had been with Kwame Nkrumah. If you read Joe Appiah's book, and I've read his autobiography, fantastic read. Appiah told us how he went with Nkrumah to Liverpool Street in London. Those of you who are familiar with London, to take a train to go to Liverpool itself. Liverpool Street is in London itself, but they took a train from Liverpool Street Station and went to Liverpool itself. And from Liverpool, Nkrumah boarded a ship to come to Takoradi to meet Akwaje, who had been given money by Dankwa, who had been given money by Pa Grant to be given to Nkrumah to come over. He had come to meet Akwaje because Nkrumah knew Akwaje, so he had come to meet Akwaje. Akwaje had come to meet him and then took him to Pa Grant's house in Takwa, where he first met the UGCC group. On his way to do that, Nkrumah was with Appiah. So Nkrumah came, and then Appiah came later to be a CPP member of parliament. Appiah then fell out with Nkrumah, as did many, including Bedema as well, and then went abroad. And when he went abroad, he sort of hobnobbed with Buzia a little bit. Then he joined the NLM because it was set up by Balfour Akoto, who was their godfather in Ashtown, Asante Newtown in Kumasi. That's how they used to call it in Ashtown. Balfour, the Ashtown was the hotbed of NLM politics in Ashanti region. It has continued to be the hotbed of politics in Ashanti for a long time. I'm not sure which constituency Ashtown is. Those of you who know Kumasi will tell me, is it part of Menchia South or Menchia North? Ashtown, Ashanti Newtown. That was the hotbed of NLM politics. And Appiah then left Nkrumah to join NLM. After the overthrow of Nkrumah, Appiah went abroad again and came back. Appiah was frantically angry with Buzia. He felt that Buzia had done certain things that he shouldn't have done. Appiah also felt that he was intelligent enough to be the leader of the UP group. And those of you know President Kufuor, he's told that story to many. He's told that story to me as well. And Nana Akufo-Addo has also told that story. I've heard Akufo-Addo talk about that story. A fantastic way. The story of the relationship between, the love-hate relationship between Prime Minister Buzia and Joe Appiah. So Joe Appiah decided that if Buzia has become the leader of the party, he's not interested in the Progress Party. He won't do anything with them. He formed his own party, and he called it Ababase. This was Appiah's last rally before the voting. Of course, Appiah didn't even win his seat. His seat was won by Jamefi Boateng. Those of you who know the chairman of Exim's father, the one who used to wear the hat in Kumasi, a big fan of Asante Kotoko, Mr. Jamefi Boateng. He became the member of parliament. He beat Joe Appiah in that seat in Kumasi. because Appiah believed that Buzia organized it and handpicked Jemfi Boateng to defeat him. So Appiah is a very, very angry man. But in spite of all his anger, this was the last rally. This is Joe Appiah.
Victory will be ours. Victory must be ours. One people, one country, one great destiny. Ababa said. Ababa said. Abba said.
That is a very, very angry Joe Appiah. What did he say in the last rally? Victory will be ours. Victory must be ours. Victory shall be ours. One country, one people, one destiny. That's a great message for a final rally for a politician. Today, will Fifi Kwete say that? One people, one country, one destiny? Will he say that? He'll come and tell you that somebody is a liar or he will use some unprintable words. That's Joe Appiah. He's very angry. But he said one people, one country, one destiny. He's talking about Buzia is part of the one people. He was angry with Buzia. And he said, I'm a Babase. Abase. That's Appiah. Flip over to 1979. The circumstances of the election, everybody knows there had been a coup d'etat that had come in the middle of the election timetable. Like today, then there's a coup today. The coup makers come, and then they say that in spite of the coup, they will still run the election. So the dates of the election are kept. Executions are conducted by J.J. Rawlings and his military adventurers and the junta. They kill people anyhow in Teshi, and they call it let the blood flow, and all kinds of things are done. And then the election comes. And the election is a return of the acrimony between the UP group and the Nkrumah's group. At this stage, Imoro Igala, who is running the Nkrumah's campaign, the main Nkrumah's campaign, is disqualified. People among the Nkrumahs, Johnny Hansen and Colonel Banasco, feel that as Nkrumahs, they should be put there. Now, how did Banasco become important in this election? Banasco became important in the election because, like Fifi Kwete, Colonel Banasco had been an agri minister for Achampon. They called them the commissioners. He had been commissioner for agriculture. And Colonel Banasco had done so well with, I was going to say planting for food and jobs. He had done so well with backyard garden, Operation Feed Yourself. Put food in your backyard. Plant tomatoes in your backyard and feed yourself. That was the most successful policy of the 70s for Achampon in agriculture. So Colonel Banasco said, because of what I did in agriculture, votes for me. And did he not get many votes in the central region? Most of the Fantis felt that Banasco was their man. That is why, because of the threat of Banasco, it was important for the eventual winner, Dr. Liman, to pick a running mate from the central region. Dr. De Graaf Johnson had already been elected as MP for Cape Coast, should I say PC, parliamentary candidate for Cape Coast. And Dr. Liman and his people voted for De Graaf Johnson to become the running mate because Banasco was threatening that he was going to carry the whole central region. Let's see the campaign. Let's start with Liman.
The PMP is the only national party among all the others. It has support in every family, in every village, in every town, in every urban center, and in every one of our cities.
Man said in one of his rallies, he said his PMP is a national party. It's everywhere. He didn't say another politician has done something or has done something or has done something. Let's go on to see Victor Owusu, if they have it. 79, Victor Owusu.
Great to you, the people of Tema and the greater Accra region, and to charge you to go forward on Monday the 18th to that great and complete triumphant victory which awaits the popular process.
Sorry about the earlier video. That was Victor Owusu campaigning. What did he say? He didn't say much. He just made short videos. But you see the decoral mood with the campaign. Let's look at one of the finest gentlemen that ran that election in 1979. His name is William Ofori-Atta. Have a look.
In the leadership of the United National Convention, an unyielding and uncompromising determination to raise Ghana to her unenviable place in the Committee of Nations.
William Oforiatta. I'm cutting these things short because we have 2 interviews. Dodo is here and Dr. Sikanko is also here. So that was Pa Willie. Those of you who have not heard the name before, have not seen it, that's Pa Willie. William Oforiatta is one of Akufo-Addo's favorite uncles. And he ran the elections in 1979 on the ticket of UNC. His running mate was Alhaji Muhammad Idrisu. His general secretary was Dr. Obeda Samoa. Samuel Kujeto was part of the UNC. All of those people. Dr. Mensa Otabil was a big admirer of the UNC. You know why? Because all the Krife boys in 1979 rallied behind Pa Willie because he was the president of the Ghana Scripture Union. Those of you who went to Scripture Union in your secondary schools, the SU, raise your hand if you went to SU. In Presec, raise your hand. If you went to SU, I raise my hand. Those who went to SU, raise your hand. William Oforiatta was the president of the Ghana Scripture Union. So all the Krife boys supported UNC and were hoping that UNC would. One day, Dr. Otabil told me a story. He said that how he looks at politics in these days without emotion. He said in 1979, he went to bed after the night of the election. He was sure that in the morning, William Oforiatta would have been elected president. I was there about 2 or 3 years old. Looking at the document and the history, I was telling that there was no way Pa Willie was going to win. The contest was between Liman and Victor Usu. How was Pa Willie going to win? He says, you don't understand what happened that time. We had prayed. And we knew that God was going to make Pa Willie the winner. So after that process, he says he looks at the elections without that emotion. He looks at it and see how it goes because that day he knew that he would wake up and William Oforiatta would be elected. But let's move on to the next one. Which is the fiery Colonel Banasco. He had the fiery speech. This was his last rally in 79. Have a look.
Do you think we have got to endure this thing all our last time? Where's the cocoa money? Where's the timber money? Where's the manganese money? What is the money? Where's the timber? Where's all that money?
Yeah, Banasco is charging the crowd. Where's the timber money? Where's the this money? Where's that? That was Colonel Banasco, great man. Many years later, I met him in London's Tottenham Heath. I was in a shop in Tottenham Heath. I had been sent by Kweku Baako to give something to his late brother. May he rest in peace. He lived in the Tottenham Heath area, and not too far from Croydon. So I'd gone to see the junior Baako, and I'd given him, and I was leaving. And I asked him for a shop around, and he showed me that one. So I went in, and I saw this very tall gentleman. And I was on the phone I don't know what I was speaking to Ghana. I was speaking Fanti. So he approached me and said, "Hey, Ghana, yeah." I said, "If Ghana, I said, "If Ghana, na me buy." He said, "Then I said, I came to see Mr. Baako." He said, "Oh, but that's Kweku Baako's brother." I said, "Yes, it was Kweku Baako who asked me to come and see him." He said, "Why? Are you a journalist?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "From where?" I said, "Joy FM." He said, "Oh, I've been reading Joy online." Now, Enyima. I said, "No," he was so disappointed. A journalist, Enyim. I said, "No." He said, Enyim Colonel Banasco. I said, "Hey, are you Colonel Banasco?" He laughed. He said, "But how old are you?" I said, "I know because I grew up in Bema Camp." He said, "Who was your father?" I told him. "Which unit was he in?" I told him. "Where do you live?" We spoke for the next 2 hours. My train came, went. I couldn't be bothered. I was collecting filler. May he rest in eternal peace, Colonel Banasco. We had a fantastic conversation that day. And later on, I was working on my documentary, and I saw this video, and I said, "Oh, that's Colonel Banasco." He lived the rest of his life in London, and eventually, I believe he died in London. But he had done significant contribution to Ghana's politics, one of the best agric ministers we have had. Let's shift over to the year 2000, the election that was eventually won by John Agyekum Kufuor. And that's our last one tonight. And then we will continue to do these things to show Ghanaians that we have had clean campaigns before. We have had issue-based campaigns before. We are going to have an issue-based campaign in 2024. We will not allow Fifi Kweti to derail the efforts that all Ghanaians have put together to get a genuine, clean campaign. We will not allow Fifi Kweti to derail it. Now, this was 2000. The election was heated. The election was hot. J.J. Rawlings was campaigning for Professor Mills. Tony Edu was standing with him. Nana Akufo-Addo was standing with John Kufuor. It was brutal. All of these people who were leading the 2000 campaign had all seen the 69 and had all seen the 79. Here is a rally in Tamale sometime in November where the campaign had heated up. And the conversation was that, and I don't know why it is like that, the NDC, who was the ruling party, were against the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission said people without photo ID cards cannot vote. And the Supreme Court had held that no, the Electoral Commission cannot say that. because people with we don't have photo ID cards, they are Ghanaians and the franchise cannot be taken away. This was the matter. It went to the Supreme Court 3 or 4 times. So around the end of the campaign here, the videos we are going to show you, this is the theme that is being discussed. You're going to hear first John Agyekum Kufuor together with Nana Akufo-Addo, and then you will hear J.J. Rawlings and Tony Edu, and then you will hear Nana Akufo-Addo again. This was just 24 years ago. Here it is.
The past 2 years or so, about 30 women, 5 women have been killed, and that's not the trace of the culprit. The police are there. Ghana has got some very fine police. I respect Dr. Asamoah, the lawyer, senior lawyer. But when it comes to the Constitution, if it comes to the Constitution, we are in a position to tell it. What the Electoral Commission is doing is in accordance with the Constitution. There's nothing wrong about it at all.
That's Adodi, Ado Showboy. Those were the days. He said you heard what he said. He's talking about his opponent. He said, I respect Dr. Obed Asamoah. I respect him. But when it comes to the Constitution, we are prepared to challenge him, to tell him that what the Electoral Commission is doing is according to the Constitution. This is political campaign, rally. He said, I respect Dr. Asamoah. So the people who are listening to Akufo-Addo at the rally are not going to go away and go on radio and go and say that Obed Asamoah is a fool. Because their leader told them at the rally that he, the leader, he respects Obed Asamoah. That's what Akufo-Addo said. He said, I respect Dr. Obed Asamoah, but when it comes to the Constitution, we are prepared to challenge him. This is political campaigning on the issues. You're not coming to denigrate another person. You're not coming to denigrate another politician so that your supporters take it up and be screaming horse and insulting people and denigrating the whole campaign and making Ghanaian politics look like it's 18th century politics. Fifi Kwete, go and tell him that we are coming from a great history. He's not the one to derail the history of politics in this country. That's Akufo-Addo telling his multitude of supporters that he, Akufo-Addo, respects Obed Asamoah. That was how campaigns were run. Listen to Tony Edu and Flight Lieutenant Rawlings speaking about the same issue.
The Supreme Court decided on behalf of our unfortunate, underprivileged people in the rural areas who, for circumstances beyond their control, could not move to the district capitals to go and exchange their thumbprint cards for voter ID cards. The Supreme Court has ruled that those people with thumbprint ID cards can never be denied their constitutional right to vote. We could have taken to the streets also in a demonstration, because trying to deny people about 30% of their right to vote is a serious business.
So the MPP held a rally, and that's what Rawlings is referring to. He said, we also could have taken to the streets, because when you deny people 30% of them their right to vote, it's a serious matter. But the Supreme Court has ruled, so we'll leave it like that. Tony Edu was fiery, but he was explaining to the people that the Supreme Court has ruled that the people can vote. So the Electoral Commission cannot say that they will deny them. I don't know why the NDC has had a long battle with the Electoral Commissions of different generations. This was Afari-Jan's Electoral Commission, and JJ and Tony Edu and the NDC, they were fighting the Electoral Commission. But anyway, let's now look at what for me is the best soundbite of that election 2000. For me, that's the best soundbite, and it's held by Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Have a look.
So many hundred Odumas Wala, President Tumayam. What is he saying? Yeah, but sister, no. Wakasa no fi wakasa no more. Wamachake me.
And viewers, I don't know whether you noticed Lord Comey was the one holding the microphone for Akufo-Addo when he said, please play that again, play that video again, so they should see Lord Comey. Play that video again. And the Akufo-Addo video. That's how campaigns had been. We're really running out of time. Thank you very much, viewers. That's how campaigns had been. Let's take a few text messages, one each. Dodu and then H.S. Sikanko will come and bid us farewell as he leaves to the United States to cover for us Super Tuesday in that big election between Trump and Biden.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, he was dozing off. Please come and do your text messages.
Okay. All right, so watching us live from Gariki Pusiga, Safianu Adam says, it's disheartening and heart-wrenching, the kind of vitriol we witness today in our politics. This worrying dimension in our politics is, in my opinion, is a baby of Asiedu Nketia when in the opposition in 2008, he lumped all the 17 flag-bearer aspirants and called them the 17 thieves, quote. Well, now it's a subculture in the NDC that your surest rise to fame and recognition is how many insults you rain on your opponents. Insults or insulting is a benchmark and a criteria to be selected as a communication team member in the NDC today. Well, anyway, Annette.
Okay, so we have a few congratulatory messages from Nana Yawasari and Kwesi Barcelona. Nana Yawasari says a huge congratulations to Honorable Alex K.A. Martin Esquire. And all the way from Michelle Kam, Kweku Barcelona says, kudos to Honorable Alexander Kwamena Afenyo Martin Esquire. He will fit well in Honorable Osaiti Mensabonsu's shoes very well. The NPP is poised to break the 8. Greetings to Krobia Kwabena Asante, Director of Communications in charge of social media of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign team. And he has a hashtag and says it is possible. Sarah.
From Isa Ibrahim Baba, he says, amassing wealth is not the aim of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. His topmost priority is see Ghana move forward and compete with developed countries through digitalization. DMB is Ghana's next chapter, and inshallah, it is possible. Back to you, Paul.
I'm very, very happy and proud. And Dodo, you should listen to this because Hassan Ayariga has sent me a text. And he says, good evening, my good friend, Senior Captain Paul. I read the captain. I was going to say smart. I said, why is he calling me? It says, Senior Captain Paul, please. Hassan Ayariga, if Captain Smart is captain, I am Brigadier General. So change it. All right. The next time, please add APC candidate Hassan Ayariga, his picture too, and not just MPP and NDC. Okay, Hassan Ayariga, add your picture. But this is what excites me. Hassan Ayariga makes an aside. He says that, Paul, you should be a senior political lecturer in Legon, and lots of political students will benefit. Okay, we'll get there, but Ransford Jampo is there, and he's doing an excellent work.
We just lost one.
We lost one?
Yeah.
Who did we lose?
Professor Ayondo.
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah, he taught me international politics.
Yeah, me too. He taught me foreign policy.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. Did Boafata teach you as well? Yeah. Is he still around? Professor Boafata?
Yeah, I think he's around.
Yeah, I think he's around. Oh, okay. Oh, so you are from the political science department? Yeah. Fantastic. Dodu, what do you make of the parliamentary changes the NPP has done?
Okay, sir, this is not the first time this is happening in NPP. I think in President Kufuor's time, we had J.H. Mensah. Later, we have Papa Osu Ankuma. Then we have Felix Osu Japan, the late former MP for Achimzu. Then Honorable Richmond Abraham Oseyedu, the one who was succeeded by Carlos Ahenkra in Tema West. But this one, I think the brouhaha was about maybe some lack of communication or it was not well communicated, and it was as if that those who are not going again or those who have lost all their seat must leave. That is what is bringing that confusion. But it is not the first time leadership is being changed. We had J.H. Mensah. Later on became Papa Osu Ankuma. Honorable Felix Osu Japan came. Honorable Richmond Abraham Oseyedu came. Even Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu. When he started as a deputy whip. Then he came as a whip. And then he rose up to become the leader of the group. So I think changing of leadership is not a new thing. But that should not break the front of the NPP because they have a crucial battle to fight.
Okay, Derek, our good friend from Kumasi, who is a part of Good Evening Ghana, says that Ashtown sits pretty in Menchia South constituency under the leadership of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh. Thank you, Derek. It's been a while. I saw him at the Kumasi airport the other day, looking resplendent in his clothing. Thank you, Derek. And let's organize and come round soon and talk to us again. So, do you think this was being prepared for the Bawumia campaign?
Well, it's 50-50. I think maybe because I think 2 weeks ago, I was here with you and we will talk about will Mr. Afenyomarkin be a good majority leader? I said yes, he will be a good majority leader. So I think it's good we have the experience, but I think it is also time for Honorable Afenyomarkin to also exhibit his leadership for the party to know what he can also do. And I think maybe for strategic reason that they have also chosen, because if they are going to have a flag bearer from the northern region, maybe the running mate will come from the Ashanti region. They must get a compliment from the central region to also lead parliament.
So some people have said that it's to match up to Case Lato Forsen, who is from the central region, who is leading the NDC, because central region is a swing constituency. A campaign will be waged in the central region that the NPP doesn't like central region people. Look at their front bench. They don't have any central region person inside. NDC has running mate from central region and majority leader, so that could capture the attention of central region people. Do you think that's going to work?
Yeah, it can work, because I think now if that campaign is going to be waged, it will not sound well in the minds of the electorate, because MPP has also gotten somebody from the central. So if they have chosen him for, if it was a strategic position that they have taken, and I think that it's good they have taken that decision. I think Honorable Osei Mensa has done his bit. He has contributed. Nobody is undoubtedly. He has contributed his code to Mother Ghana. And I think it's good to move on for Honorable Afenyomarkin to come.
But people like, what do you call it, Joe Wise and Atachia have both expressed disappointment.
Yeah, I listened to him, my MP.
Yes, disappointment about Mensa leaving. But what do you make of that?
I think all this issue can be discussed when the National Council meets. But going to public, I don't think it helped the party politically. So I will plead with both men are very experienced. Honorable Joe Wise, Honorable Joe Osei came to Parliament as an independent candidate in 2009. Then 2012, 2016, 2020, joined the MPP. Then my MP, Honorable Atachia, also came in 2009. And I think both are lawyers, both are very old. They can find a way of discussing or expressing their grievances if they are not happy with the party decision than going on air.
I see. So Patricia PJ comes in as deputy majority leader. It's believed that she was an Alancha Martin person, but she's retained the Asokwa seat as a parliamentary candidate. Is that a unity gig or what is it?
Oh, as for the unity gig, it has started. Even the one who, even Dr. Bawumia's manifesto team, I know someone who was very closer to my honorable MP for Asin Central, also part of the. So even now, the MPP is one. There is no Alan, there is no whoever fashion. Now they have a leader. So I think if you are a leader of the party, you must get everybody involved. So if Honorable Patricia PJ, the MP for Asokwa, who overthrew Honorable Maso Kofi Dwuma on 2011 30th April primaries, if she's going to be the deputy majority chief, I don't see anything wrong with that. But Mr. Paul, before I'll go, let me say that politicians who normally give hate speeches, you don't know where your God will take you to, your future. So I think those politicians should not allow themselves to be used as cannon fodder.
So who are you referring to?
Oh, I'm referring to any politician who have been making statements that does not sound well in the mind of the electors. Like as you are playing now, somebody going to the north telling the northerners that the son of Mumuni Bawumia is a disgrace to the north. I think you, that politician, in 2008, you said some MPP has burned NDC office in Kebbi. It came out that it's not true. You said somebody has been beaten Achim Tafo because he's an NDC man. It came out that it's not true. And your vetting was very difficult. to become a deputy finance minister. It was very difficult. And now you still don't learn anything from it. You are allowing yourself to be used as cannon fodder. I'm sorry.
What will be your last word for this evening before I go to the American election?
Oh yeah, my last comment is that politicians, you don't know where your future will come. You don't know where God will take you. So don't allow yourself to be used as cannon fodders, especially the one who have been the propaganda secretary and now general secretary.
I see. Okay. Dodo, I'll take leave of you and go to the touch screen and talk to Professor Dr. H. Sika-Anku.
I'll be listening
and
to
then I'll be right back after that. Do you have some text messages for me, one each, before we get to H. Sika-Anku and then we finalize? Antoinette first.
Okay, so Samuel Ofosuba, he says, Paul, one thing most NPP caucuses don't know is Chairman Wontumi is the MPP and MPP is Chairman Wontumi, who will surely be the immediate national chairman. This is a regional chairman who sacrifices every drop of blood in his system to provide, protect, and promote the MPP fraternity. Chairman Wontumi way a tough bound. Now, Akwesi Champon says, James Abonsu is coming back to Parliament. He's coming back as the Speaker of the next Parliament. I said it here and you should watch out. Sarah?
Nana Kwesi, he says the NDC hates any debate that involves data and facts. And from Isaac Amankwa, he says your tenacity and flexibility is amazing, St. Paul, unlike someone I know. Angelo? No. Okay, back to you, Paul.
Okay. Doc, so you are leaving us tomorrow night. When do you arrive in America?
Morning.
Yeah, tomorrow is Friday, so you arrive on Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
To which state?
To Maryland.
Maryland?
Yes. So
near DC?
Near DC, where the action will be on Sunday.
Oh, Sunday? When you arrive on Saturday, Sunday is a...
There's a DC...
primary?
Yes, there's a primary...
For where? Which state?
For, Washington, D.C. has been constituted as a state on its own.
I see.
So there'll be the D.C., the capital itself has its own special primary.
Is that the first time they're going to do it?
No. The D.C. has always had a special...
but there's few people delegates then, because it's a small state.
Well, it does, when you equalize it in terms of the number of delegates that will count, it's not that little.
Oh, I see.
So it definitely counts for something. And remember, this is a numbers game. You need to get to 1,000, I think 1,600-ish, in order to win the nomination. And so that is the game that some of the candidates are playing. Hopefully they amass enough votes. Someone like Nikki Haley.
So is it both Democrats and Republicans for DC on Sunday?
Both Democrats and Republicans.
So this will be the third primary for Trump after Iowa and New Hampshire?
Yes. Actually, for Trump, they've amassed a lot more than that. So there's been Iowa, there's been New Hampshire, there's been Nevada. So this is going to be maybe the fourth. And I believe there's one more. I just forgot.
And Trump has won convincingly in all of these places.
He's won convincingly. So he's ahead in terms of the delegate count. I believe 90-something to 17 or so.
Oh, wow.
But the game that Nikki Haley is playing is that she's just hoping that something untoward would happen. Maybe some of the civil cases or the court cases will fall heavily on Trump. He might look unpalatable to some voters, and they'll go for her. But in terms of the raw numbers and the support, I think Trump is the overwhelming.
What's the Supreme Court? When is the Supreme Court going to give their verdict on whether or not they will uphold Colorado and other states who say Trump cannot run elections there?
Yeah, so at this point, nobody can really tell. They are just hoping that it will come early enough because they've heard the oral arguments. They've heard all the points of both sides. So I think they've gone back into conclave and they're kind of trashing it out and they will come back soon. So
who brought the action? Is that whose instance? Trump's lawyers?
Yes, it was Trump's lawyers because Colorado their Supreme Court had actually ruled that he should be taken off the ballot. And that was the highest court in Colorado. So really, if he hadn't taken it there, it meant that for real, he will really be off the ballot. And it was getting a rippling effect in so many other states. So he needed to really stop that ASAP. So he and the Republican Party, they are joint, partners. So they went to the Supreme Court on this particular issue. And people are guessing. So the Supreme Court has taken center stage. And that's really the interesting thing because there's always a point where, remember in 2000, the Al Gore and the Bush kids.
Yeah, I remember
the
that.
Supreme Court had to come in.
Is that the Supreme Court of 9?
Yes, that's the Supreme
Is that
Court.
Biden in the middle?
Yes, that's Biden.
What's he doing there?
Well, I think this is just one of those ceremonial pictures they take with it. But if we want to, that's the Chief Justice. So all eyes on the Supreme Court, because if these people really rule that Trump is ineligible to stand in certain states, that's almost like a very, very big deal. You know, he may actually lose the nomination. So it depends how they vote. So
but Roberts was appointed by George Bush.
So that's a huge R there.
Yeah. And then you have, my favorite, Clarence Thomas, also appointed by Bush, I believe. Yes, there.
So another R there.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Republican. And this is Samuel Alito, also appointed by Bush. So another big R over there.
So this is Bush what?
This is George W. Bush. So
the second one.
Yes.
43, I believe.
Right. And he's had over 18 years of service. Sonia Sotomayor. So the
appointed by Barack Obama.
So the first Democrat that we are seeing, and then, or the first appointed by a Democrat, sorry. Elena Kagan, also appointed by Barack Obama. So Sonia was...
Both of them are women.
Yes, and she was the first, Hispanic Supreme Court justice ever. Yeah, and a female as well, so it was a big deal. And then there's Neil Gorsuch, also, well, he was appointed by Trump.
Yes.
So that's an R there. And then
another Trump appointee.
He went through a lot.
2, 3, Trump appointee.
Trump appointee. And so that's it. So it's 6-3.
So
in favor of the Republicans. So
in terms of how they came onto the court.
In terms of their political leanings.
In terms of their political leanings.
Yes,
but you may suspect that the person appointed by George Bush, if he's a Bushite, then he doesn't like Trump. The Bush don't like Trump. Unless it's going to be a party thing more than individual.
Yes.
Because, Donald Trump during his campaign against Jeb Bush ran him down completely. He said he has no energy and said all sorts of things about him. So really, the Bush family are not particularly excited with Trump. If the judge that was appointed by them is part of their philosophy, that's going to be a challenge for Trump.
That's a very true dynamic, and it's even playing out in the Republican Party because there are some in it who really believe that this is not the Conservative Party we knew. This is not a Republican Party, and that's the Bushy sort of. But I think when it comes to the larger Conservative Republican...
Choose between Republican and Democrats.
Yeah.
They will choose the Republican.
Clearly.
So legal analysts are expecting a 6-3 majority.
Yes, and even for this one, if you look at some of the questions they were asking, okay, and this is from Kagan, who is a Democratic appointee.
What's the question?
And says, I think the question that you have to confront is why a single state should decide who gets to be president of the United States.
Oh, that's a deep one. That suggests that the case is a no-go area. But the way she's put it is interesting. It's sublime. She says, how a single state, and that's going to revive every other state, that we are the United States of America. Colorado cannot decide that who becomes president for all of us. All of us are going to make that decision, and people in Colorado are going to be allowed to decide whether it's Trump or Biden. That's the point she's making. It sort of fits with human rights, common sense, American rights. I mean, really.
The whole notion of equality, and
what was the basis of Colorado's decision, though? Was it on a criminal something?
Well, yeah, it was on the January 6th attack.
Oh, that he tried to overturn the election and stage a coup and all that. Brought people into the White House. So he's unfit.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also induced some people to engage in what they call an insurrection.
Yeah.
And according to the 14th Amendment, if you participate in an insurrection, then
you cannot be president. Yes, but then also the Supreme Court is being invited to determine whether what Trump did is what the 14th Amendment is prescribing.
Yeah, so the interesting thing
that's an interesting question.
So they won't answer the question of the insurrection, whether he did it or not. They'll just answer the question of whether a state can take somebody off the ballot.
Yeah, but the insurrection, has it been confirmed by a court of competent jurisdiction that this was called insurrection?
No, that question has
Hasn't anybody taken an action to the Supreme Court to get the Supreme Court to pronounce that whatever happened on 6th January is an insurrection?
It's there. It's part of the cases against him, against Trump.
At the Supreme Court now?
That's the special prosecutor. He's the one handling it.
But is it before the Supreme Court or before a state court or before a court of appeal?
It's just at the court of appeal.
The beginning stage?
Yeah, it's just at the beginning stage.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's one of the major cases.
But if that case had not been pronounced, then the Supreme Court will not be able to say that whatever conduct Trump occasioned on 6th is prohibited by 14th Amendment because you can't call it an insurrection. Trump says it wasn't an insurrection. His opponents say it was an insurrection. A court must say it is an insurrection. Once they say it is, then he's disqualified actually from running as president of the United States, isn't it?
So they are being very smart about it. They are being smart not to allow themselves to get into the question of the insurrection. You get it? Yes. At this stage, because
but if they take the question this way, then Trump will win.
Oh yes, and in fact, to be honest with you, some legal scholars are saying he might actually get what's it called?
A unanimous.
A unanimous
decision.
Yes, yeah. Because even
but no Supreme Court judge can answer this question in the negative that yes, states can do that, or in the affirmative, I should say.
Right.
That the states can do that. It's very difficult to see how a Supreme Court judge will answer that. But if the defendants are able, the respondents, I should say, are able to raise the issue of the prohibitions contained in the 14th Amendment and show that whatever Trump did, even if it hasn't been called an insurrection, the spirit of it violates the spirit of the 14th Amendment. If they can do that and convince the court well, they might get some 2 or 3 judges to agree with them on that basis.
That's what those who took the case to the Supreme Court, the Colorado Supreme Court, are arguing against. But again, it's quite hard because this is what the Trump lawyers are arguing. They said this was a riot. It was not an insurrection. The events were shameful, criminal, violent, all of those things, but it did not qualify as insurrection as a term used in Section 3. So,
is it an attempted insurrection they are talking about? Because the conclusion of an insurrection is that you have overthrown the system. An attempted insurrection is that you attempted to overthrow the system, but you didn't succeed. So I'm not sure which is which.
It gets to that level, yes. But then for those who argue against Trump, they are looking at all these things that there was a riot, it was shameful, it was violent, and that, the spirit of it, he was the one who virtually instigated, he encouraged it. And at the end of the day, the whole point of that action was that they wanted to overturn the outcome of an election. And this is something that has never, ever happened in the history of America, that an election result will be overturned and that action will be encouraged by a certain president. That's really unprecedented.
But when is the Supreme Court going to speak?
It's still out in the open. Really, there's no... People are hoping they speak very soon. People are hoping they speak before Super Tuesday.
Which is what date?
Which is March 5th. March 5th, yes, March 5th. So that's when a majority of the states will be voting.
But if they don't speak before Super Tuesday, and the results come from Super Tuesday and Trump has won over Hillary, what happens? They will still speak.
Well, they'll still say what they have to say, but then that will be for the Republican Party to contend with. And that's Nikki Haley's major argument, that if they wait and present a weakened candidate, they present a candidate who has so many court cases swirling around him, some of them he might be found guilty of, then they are virtually in trouble because they'll be limping to the November 4th election with a candidate who has already probably would be found guilty on some of the federal and civil cases. And in that case, he might not be the best person, So that's the argument Nikki.
One of the lawyers told me that once Trump is elected, or that yet on CNN, once Trump is elected as the Republican Party's candidate, dynamics completely change on the legal, the stretch of the legal clauses that you can grab him with. Because once he becomes a presidential candidate, he's the property of the state. The Democratic candidate and the Republican candidate are giving security briefing. They are treated like presidents in waiting. They are given the same motorcade, the same protection. They become an institution of the American government. Yes. So at that stage, it might not be easy to drag him to court, come to court. You have to go through the FBI. You can't talk to him. You have to talk to State Department to talk to the candidate. So they think that they need to finish everything and get Trump out before he is called the candidate for the Republican Party.
Yes. In one respect, that is why this is really uncharted territory. This election is unprecedented on so many levels. It's the first time no former American president, Democrat or Republican, living or dead, current or former, has ever been indicted on a federal, criminal, or civil charges. He has about 91 face staring at him. And so, yes, the argument that they are raising might be true to an extent, but not entirely, because he's still not president. He's still not a state official. So it's uncharted territory. They have to decide what they really do with him, but not entirely a state body, because this is just a political party figure. So there's still room for the Republican Party to do whatever they want to do in case he's not able to run at that point, or in case the Republican Party notices that he's not going to be a strong candidate. So it's not as if they can't change him. You understand? It's not as if it can still happen. Even on the Democratic side, there are questions about Joe Biden's ability, his cognitive abilities, his age, and all of that. And people are really, really doubting if he's going to really be the candidate when it comes to the November election.
Is there anybody challenging him?
Well, there's one person, Dean Phillips, but of course
he's leading him by
yeah, he's a French candidate. But the argument is that they are hoping that once Joe Biden locks it, he can be able to appoint whoever he then chooses in case he's not able to stand. So
that's allowed by the law.
It is allowed
When he's been elected, the candidate of the Democratic Party,
yes,
at the DNC,
yes,
he can then later on say, "I'm not running, but this one will run."
He can propose. But there's a book that's been written on the primaries, and what it is that the Democratic National Committee, which is the executives, like the executive of the Democratic Party, the DNC committee, will then meet and decide who the candidates will be. But of course, most of them are Biden people. Yes, so they are likely to select.
So who's the person that people are thinking about in this regard? Not the vice president, Kamala Harris?
It's a very messy
She's been
situation.
very quiet, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, she's not really won, the appeal or the support of
the Biden people.
Yeah, of the Biden people and a cross-section of the Democratic Party itself. So, and they don't seem to have any viable alternative.
Michelle Obama?
She doesn't like politics. People are trying to get her into it. In fact, just this morning, there was a huge article in one of the major newspapers about how she's being drafted to come in case Biden is not able to. But knowing her, not personally, but knowing about her life or studying her for such a long time and reading about her and getting into the Obama family in detail, she has an aversion for politics. She never really wanted her husband to run for office, and so the husband had to really convince her to that, hey, I'm going to do this, and after that will be the end. So personally, she really, doesn't have that interest, but she's hugely well liked, well admired.
Is it then going to look like a great opportunity for Hillary Clinton?
I've not thought about it yet.
How old is she these days?
Probably hitting her 80s, but yeah. So it's
this age thing is always an enemy.
Yeah.
Because if Hillary Clinton were 65, surely,
then she would have been there.
You can consider her.
Yeah. So it's.
What about Al Gore? Where has he been?
Well, Al Gore has been doing the environment thing, climate change thing.
He's very loved by Americans.
Very much so.
Why are they not looking at him?
Well, because he gave up politics a long time ago.
It doesn't matter. You can call him back.
Well, maybe, but there's some sense. There's some sense that his time has passed. Politics about time. If your time passes, it's very difficult to get the mojo back, to get that fire and that electricity back as before. Definitely, he's a great candidate, but he's seen more as belonging to the past. So, and that is why this election is a very, very, very open case. It could go several ways. Biden and Trump may not even be the candidates.
That's interesting. Yes, you're right. At the end of the day, Biden and Trump may both not be the candidates.
They both may not.
But for her age, Nancy Pelosi,
85, resigned from politics, resigned from Congress. When her husband was attacked, the other time because of her politics, someone went into their house and kind of attacked their husband because of her politics. She resigned from Congress, and that was the end of it for her. So
what should we expect from you from Tuesday? What are you going to be? What will our Facebook online people expect from you?
Right. So we're going to get into the heat of the primary, because by Super Tuesday, we'll have a very good sense of who the candidate will be. And luckily enough, on Saturday, South Carolina is going to be voting. So we'll get the first results from South Carolina as to who's winning that primary. The next day, DC is going to come up. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have some interviews with some scholars, with some experts, because there's a huge question about the quality or the state of democracy, actually not just in America, but in the entire world. There are conversations about the decline of democracy, conversations about the weakening of democracy and the threats to democracy, especially in this Trump era. in the era of misinformation and fake news. And so we are going to have a lot of interviews. We have one lined up with Matthew Baum from Harvard University. He studied this stuff a lot and was able to even predict Donald Trump's rise through some research that he did, which said that Americans had gotten to a stage where they were ready to do away with political institutions because they thought it was too bureaucratic. They were the ones being politically correct, and they were the ones that were preventing America from being what it was. And so people, a large majority of Americans had said that even if it meant doing away with the very bureaucratic political institutions, they were willing to accept anybody who would do away with it. And that's why Donald Trump has become so popular. So we'll really get into the psyche of the American people, the young people, the youth. The youth vote is going to be really, really important because they feel they've also been left behind. So we'll do a couple of interviews among the college Democrats and the college Republicans to find out what the youth are really thinking as well, and also to find out if they think that democracy in America is what it really, really, really should be. So from there, we'll then move and come to Super Tuesday itself, and then go to some voting centers to see what the voting dynamics are like, and then also file some reports in that respect. So it's going to be really a huge kaleidoscope of a number of things that will be happening.
And we are very grateful to our partners, the Zoom Lion Company and Dr. Japan. They are sending Eche away. Eche will be waiting for the reports. You have some comments on this American election. Let's hear one each.
Okay. So Real Max B, he says, I think the Democratic Party should get someone else to contest other than Biden because of his age and other factors. Richmond Ojo says that Nancy did not resign from Congress. She only gave up her leadership role. And lastly, but Paul, do not forget that people have been jailed already for the January 6th insurrection, and that is why Jack Smith is prosecuting Trump for the same offense. Back to you, Paul.
No, read this. I don't have a mic, so I want you to read this for me.
Okay. So this is from Prince Bansa from the University of Lincoln, England. He says Trump has not been charged officially for causing insurrection, so the question of 14th Amendment does not arise. And Colorado state decision itself is problematic and seen as a clear political interference by the Democrats to deny a Trump potential presidency. The only potential outcome of the court decision would be to allow Trump on the ballot. Unless the judges want to stick to their political ideologies in determining the case, it is very likely to be a unanimous verdict in favor of Trump. Now back to you, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Dodu, thank you very much for your time. We'll be meeting again maybe another 2 weeks for this election coverage. Thank you for always coming all the way to help us. And Professor Chesikanku, keep your eye on our social media page for the Good Evening Ghana version of the American election. Super Tuesday is 5th March, and as you heard him say, Saturday there's primaries in Washington, D.C. And he's going to cover it for us. We're so delighted that we're able to send him away to America by the kind courtesy of our sponsors, the Zoom Lion Company, that have allowed this to happen. Okay, we're close now. It's a Friday, and if you drink, don't drive. We're watching football. There's an Arsenal playing Newcastle at the weekend. Big game, big deal. You beat them? Yeah. Oh, you beat Newcastle?
Yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, okay.
To beat them.
Bukayo Saka will score?
Yeah, Saka will score, Eli will score. My only problem with Nana and Baumia is that they are Tottenham fans.
Oh, both of them are Tottenham fans?
Yeah.
I see. I'm a Manchester United fan.
Oh, okay. It's not bad. I only hate Tottenham.
Oh, you hate Tottenham?
Yeah.
That's about it?
Yeah.
Okay, United will be playing Fulham. And I regret not being able to say who Asante Kotoko will be playing this weekend, but I'm sure the Ghana Premier League is on with all the conflicts.
The Ghana Premier League has
Kotoko is playing Heart of Lions. Mumin just told me. Where? Heart of Lions, Kotoko in Pando. Those of you who are around the area, just go and have a look at it. Mumin just told me that. We're delighted to have been kept on Metro TV up until this time. We've taken so much of your time. Thank you, Engineer Agogo, for keeping us on. We leave it with Bukom Banku and the children who like Doomso.
My name is Brahma Kamoko, a.k.a. Bukom Banku. Tell her with the craze, we with the craze of this country. We are not afraid of this country. Every day, you people say do so. Every day, you people say do so, do so. That problem there for the Kuma time. It's there for the JJ time. It's there for the Kufuor time. It's there for the Atamis time. And then your mama come and solve that problem. How was demonstration? How was demonstration? You people are mad or fool. We are Ghanaians. Why you disturb the president like that? He's my father, John Dramani Mama. You people are demonstrating. If you go here demonstrating, look at the thing your mama do in this Ghana. Look at the street hospital. You don't know. That problem there for the Nkrumah time. And your mama want to kill in their heart to solve that problem. Me, myself, I like you so. I like you so. Because I'm the darkness man. Why you disturb the president like that? Huh? Why you disturb John Dramani Mama, Mr. Enseles like that? You Ghana. When the problem there, let's all make together to pray. Let's all make together to pray for John Mama, and the problem must be finished. John Mama killing the light. Ghana, I ask you a question. John Mama killing the light. It's a problem. Right now, John Mama travel to collect the thing to come Ghana to stop the light. Or you can pray for the president. Mad. Hey, Sarkodie here. Sarkodie musician, me, and I respect you a lot. But this time, you are a fool. Hey, Even now, me, I know you very well. I know you very well. Very, 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 very. We are all mad, oh. We are all mad this country. Me and the support to Tony Mara. 2016 go win. You don't do so. Just pray. Jagapia, you go to Brazil. You go to sleep toilet. Are you fool? Are you fool to go demonstrate to disturb the president? Why you disturb the president in the nation like that? You can pray. My name is Brahma Kamoko, aka Buko Baku. No fear, no bagawaya. Me, I don't like you so.